and we can start in a minute.
Super. Are you going to do a short introduction or do you want me to
Yes,
jump
this
in?
is I will. I'm still waiting for everybody in the queue to get in. Uh, so I will introduce you. Although I did introduce you to my students in my class at 6 o'clock today, but most of the people here aren't my students per se. So I will start with a brief introduction, just waiting for everybody to join in. All right, so it's 1 past 8, and since we only have 1 hour, I think we get started. So welcome everybody and good evening. Uh, we start with the 9-day Reset with Incisive Career Guidance series today. And this will go on from today, which is 20th April until 28th April. And we have experts from multiple disciplines, starting with Dr. Shinjini Singh, who I will introduce to you very soon as I'm done admitting all the people into this meet. So, yes. So, we have with us Dr. Shinjini Singh, uh, who is here in the capacity of a discipline expert from the area of development. And I'm guessing most of you are, most of you in attendance here are in the age group of 13 to 19. So I'm not sure if you really understand what development sector really means beyond the buzzword NGO and non-profit. So we wanted to get started with this series with Shinjini for multiple reasons. Because one, she's doing something that a lot of you probably want to do and you're not aware of. Unlike how the case is with civil services exam, where you think you want to do it, but you actually don't know much about it. This is probably something that you probably know about, and you really should put your focus towards it. And one reason why we put Shinjini as the first speaker here is that it because she exemplifies the fact that it is possible to excel in social sciences and not pursue civil services exam, right? So we didn't want to start with a babu. And Shinjini is a Commonwealth scholar. She did her MPhil and PhD from University of Cambridge between 2010 and 11, which was MPhil, and then thereon she did her PhD from Cambridge University, and she was a Commonwealth scholar. One of the most interesting things about her is that she didn't attend formal school for the first few years of her life. So, unlike most of us who believe that we even learn to talk and walk when we attend school, she did not go to school until I think when she was 8 or 9 years old. Right. I know Shinjini for almost 15 years now, and besides being somebody who works for governments now, her last stint was with the government of Uttar Pradesh, and before that, she was working with the government of Bihar. She also founded the Lucknow Book Club long ago, when probably most of you were still in kindergarten. So I welcome Dr. Shinjini Singh as an expert of development, but also somebody who knows pretty much everything about everything. Welcome on board, Shinjini, and please, if you could get started.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. That's a very warm welcome, and also you've been very effusive of your praise about me knowing a lot about a lot. But I don't think that's entirely true. But yes, what I can chat about a lot today is making the most of your opportunities as they come along, and a little bit of international, a little bit of being in the state, looking at yourself nationally, and what are some of the ways of bringing everything together that you start doing from school to college to internships to later, and then also towards building something of your own. So I'm 40 years old now, and I've got about 2.5 decades of experience. And why I say that is because I started working when I was 17, when I was in school itself. So my first paycheck came in when I was in 11th standard. And so I'm a very early proponent of financial independence, and I'm a very early proponent of learning and doing along with it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how some of these things shaped me and why I took certain decisions. One of them was not to sit for the civil services exam. But before we go anywhere, I think I'll start with the beginning itself. As Abhishek said, I didn't go to formal school. So until sixth standard, I was actually schooled at home. Part of the reason being that my parents were in transferable jobs and it was difficult keeping me in one place, and I kept getting thrown around everywhere. So my mother filled in very beautifully, and so did my grandparents when it came to what an education should look like. So what they focused upon were skills that they were good at, and the skills that they were good at was partly art and reading a lot. So they got me started on reading very early, and this is way before the distractions of Instagram, etc. So you can imagine how long ago that was. So because I was reading very early, and I was traveling very frequently with my mother and with my father also. One of the things that they wanted me to do was write about my experiences and have an opinion of my own. So everything that I saw around me, I had to tell them what I thought about it. And I think somewhere along the way that helped me find my voice. And so that's a thought I want to leave with you about finding your voice and how important that is to everything that you will do in your life. So the first step for me was definitely being welcomed in terms of having an opinion, and the second was being able to express it through words as well as articulating it in a group setting to others. So these two skills came in very early for me, and when I went formally to school, whether it was boarding school and then day school here in Lucknow, I found myself being part of all the literary groups and debating society, then starting a newsletter. And I was very confident about these activities because, I'd read enough and I could talk about it in that way. So that was something that set me apart from my classmates and gave me a little bit of confidence. But I was also tutored very early in humility, that even though you may know a little bit more because you've been reading more and you've been writing more, it's not necessary that you know everything. So where that exposure came in from, again, I would say is that I have an older brother who's 5 years older than me, and he went very early to a foreign university. He went to America to study, and my parents were very keen to send him abroad to study because at that point in time, and this is the early 2000s, studying abroad was, if you went to America, you would have a very good opportunity, very good career, very good money, etc. So they just wanted to make sure that he got out and did something. But he went on a couple of loans, etc., and it was very difficult for my family financially managing that decision. So looking at the trajectory and the pressures on my family, because one of the children was studying abroad, I knew very early that whatever course I would take when it came to undergrad or postgrad, I would make sure that I had a scholarship. And so, knowing about those pressures and knowing that I needed a scholarship before I got into a good college, I started studying what people who had scholarships did to get those scholarships. What were those profiles like? So I was looking at Rhodes Scholars, for instance. What is it that they did? Or I was looking at Commonwealth Scholars. What is it that they did? And most of them, if I look back, somebody was good at sports, somebody had started something, somebody had leveraged a network, somebody had worked in an NGO, somebody was good at debating. And so when I studied their profiles, I was able to kind of gauge that what is it that I need to do a little bit more of. And what helped me in doing this was a lot of stalking on the internet. And yes, you could do that very early in life. In in the early 2000s also, you could read up on people, you could read up on the profiles of those who had got the specific scholarships that were full scholarships, which is what I wanted. I didn't know enough about courses back then. I just knew that, I was good at writing and I loved animals a lot. So one of the things I wanted to do was become a veterinary doctor in the beginning. That didn't really work for me, didn't really get into medical sciences or veterinary science, but instead took on journalism. And as I said, I started working at 17. So I was writing for the Hindustan Times very early because I'd been writing for the school newspaper, etc. And I had an offer. I actually went to the newspaper as well and spoke to their team and said that, for the local Lucknow edition, could I do some more writing for them? And so my first paycheck came in when I was in 11th standard only because I went and asked that, can I write for you? And I never really asked if I'd be paid for it, but I did ask that, can I write? And, can I do this more frequently than just have the one off that was coming out of school? And that was the second part. After finding your voice, if I was to say what is the second milestone for me, it is going and asking for an opportunity. And it's not that difficult. We always shy away from going and meeting people in person. Back then, you wouldn't really have a LinkedIn to go and write to some editor and be like, so dear so and so, can I please write for you? And this is my background, and I'd be so happy if you give me an opportunity, and I won't let you down, etc. You wouldn't write something like that back then. You would actually go and meet someone. And so I think that that holds true today as well. that if you make an effort to go and meet people, you're more likely to get the opportunities that suit you. And so in my case, I put the two and two together, that I could write, that I wanted to earn a little bit of money, and I wanted a little bit of visibility. And I found a newspaper where I could do it. So I went and spoke to the editor, and it worked well for me. Started writing, went into journalism school, and I stayed in Lucknow for my undergrad. I was at Amity doing mass communication very early. And during my mass comm course, I worked for three different newspapers, did a couple of documentaries, started the Lucknow Book Club, all of that. Because I did get into a foreign university for my undergrad, but I didn't get a scholarship. And as I said earlier, I was very clear that I wanted a scholarship. And so, whatever it would take for me to get a scholarship, I was willing to do that. And so, all along my undergrad, I was building my profile towards the end, thinking that, at some point, if I were to get my final degree, I'd like it to be from a good college with good, what you would, good perspective and good exposure. And the reason why I wanted that was because a lot of the people that I admired came from universities that were institutions where you had good networks, where you had good professors who would show you different approaches to studying and understanding the larger body of evidence and work that is there. Not just the big names, etc., but just how to really study and how to really absorb different texts, how to really make the most out of those and come up with your own theories in some ways. And so Cambridge stood out for me very early as being one of those institutions, the most longest standing at that. And all of this work that I'd done held me in good stead through journalism. I also got in touch with a couple of NGOs. And whilst I was doing my mass comm, I started volunteering. And so that brings me to the third. After finding your voice and finding your opportunity, volunteering was the third part that really helped me a lot. So I started working at a very small NGO called ESAS in Lucknow, and I was about 20, 21 years old then. I used to go and teach children who were children at the railway station, basically. And again, my skill was basically reading and writing English. And so that's what I taught them. And in that experience of teaching them and not knowing much about policy, etc., but listening to people who were working with them at a larger scale, when you're working with an NGO, it's not just that आप बच्चों को पढ़ा रहे हो, आप ये भी समझते हो कि अगले फंडिंग कहाँ से आएगी, कि आप ये जो एनजीओ चला रहे हो और बच्चों के साथ कैसे काम करेंगे, ये जो बच्चे इनके जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उनके पास बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है इसलिए वो स्कूल नहीं जा सकते, वो कैसे होगा. So I was suddenly exposed to a variety of things. I understood what funding meant to expand this work with more children. I understood what policy meant in terms of, if you had to register these children formally, if the government is to recognize them, it would take a certain level of policy work to do it. I also understood that, these children had different types of families from my own. So my own worldview expanded a lot because I was again getting exposure locally. And at that point in time, जब मैं इस एनजीओ के साथ काम कर रही थी, it was not with this very selfish perspective कि मैं कल कैम्ब्रिज जाऊंगी तो मेरे को एक एनजीओ का सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. मुझे बस बहुत अच्छा लगा while I was doing my course in terms of my mass comm, that beyond writing about issues मुझे कुछ करना भी चाहिए. सिर्फ लिखने से कुछ नहीं होगा. I need to spend some time in a more meaningful manner for myself. And this volunteering experience was one of those. And through that, I found my bigger, blue sky piece, which was policy work, deeper policy work. And from there, I got into consulting. So if I look at it in terms of how I've built myself, I understood each and every piece that I was working at, writing, understanding policy, larger global perspective, and then getting into what was at the local level available for me, which was consulting with the government through an organization called ProAct. And our ProAct was very interesting because they allowed me to study and work with them simultaneously. And a lot of people feel कि हमारे यार छोटी सी सिटी में रह करके कुछ नहीं होता, दिल्ली जाना पड़ेगा, बॉम्बे जाना पड़ेगा, बैंगलोर जाना पड़ेगा तब कुछ हो पाएगा. मैं लखनऊ में बैठे बैठे इतना कुछ मैंने कर लिया जो कि एक बड़ी सिटी में रह करके नहीं हो पाता. So I mean, whilst I was doing my undergrad itself, I was able to volunteer. I was able to work in an agency like ProAct. I was able to continue my education and do an MA also in between before I went for my MPhil in rural development and population education at Lucknow University. Only because I was sitting out of a small city where they were looking for people who had certain skills but weren't being able to find them. And I was looking for these opportunities as well. So by meeting people, I was able to connect the dots. Whilst at PROACT, I was very lucky to understand policy a little deeper, get involved in research. So from direct implementation, which is working directly with बच्चास and understanding कि उनको कैसे पढ़ाना है, NGOs कैसे काम करते हैं, advocacy कैसे होती है, बड़े campaigns कैसे होते हैं उनके rights के लिए, I was able to see कि government में जो policy लिखी जाती है, उसका basis क्या होता है, which is research. So I think at the age of 22, 23, I had very early exposure to research. And when I say research, I mean deep research. The quality of education in very specific schools in Bundelkhand is something that I worked on. A study on the education madrasa is another study I worked on. And these small studies, even though I was just going on field and asking questions, I was designing different formats for doing this. It was very helpful for me to understand that what is this larger, what is this larger sector all about? And I didn't know what the development sector was. I knew कि NGOs होते हैं और NGOs में काम करोगे तो मतलब कि एक तरह से आप लेबल भी हो जाते हो कि आप बहुत एक्टिविस्ट टाइप के हो, आप बहुत सोशल सेक्टर वाले बन गए हो, बहुत पॉलिटिकली एक्टिव हो गए हो. एंड जब मैं ये सब काम कर रही थी तो मेरे लिए चैलेंजेस भी आए थे. माय फैमिली यूज्ड टू थिंक दैट मैं बहुत अग्रेसिव हो गई हूँ. फॉर इंस्टेंस दे वर लाइक तुम सिर्फ राइट्स की बात करते हो, तुम्हें हर एक चीज को लगता है कि इनइक्वालिटी है, ये प्रॉब्लम है, वो प्रॉब्लम है, तुम पॉजिटिवली नहीं सोच रही हो, तुम पूरा दिन भर धूप में रहती हो, काली हो गई हो. All those things they were thinking about me and saying to me, but somewhere I was finding a lot of meaning. And when I started doing deeper research, I think that got a bit of respect in also. Then people around me felt कि okay, ये actually पढ़ाई लिखाई का काम कर रही है, actually किसी अच्छे end के लिए काम कर रही है. And finally जब reports निकलने लगी उसके बारे में, research reports high level की जो कि UNICEF की थी या फिर World Bank की थी, even though I was sitting in Lucknow, I was being able to write for World Bank and UNICEF and all these other places. Then a lot of my friends who were studying in TIS in Bombay or like at some other very good college in Delhi were like, ये सब opportunities हमें तो मिली नहीं, तुम्हें कैसे मिल गई? And I was like, इसलिए मिली क्योंकि मैं यहीं पे बैठी हुई थी और मैंने मांगी. So that's how it worked for me. And in writing all of that, understanding all of that, assimilating all of that, I was able to frame the higher education part a little better. जब मैं अपने MA में थी, again I applied. So मैंने अपने BA में भी foreign university के लिए apply किया, MA में भी किया, मगर दोनों बारी admissions हुए but scholarships नहीं मिली. तो मैंने फिर I decided I didn't want to go ahead unless I got that scholarship. Finally MPhil के लिए Commonwealth की scholarship हो गई मेरी, and I was like, okay, now I'm finally ready to go, and I did it. And I was so ecstatic because it was a surprise for everyone at home कि Commonwealth की scholarship हो गई है, Cambridge जा रहे हैं, थ्रू आउट लखनऊ में पढ़े हैं, इतना ज़्यादा भी कोई बड़ा लेबल नहीं है आपके पीछे कि आपने बहुत ट्रजेक्ट्री करी हो, बट सिर्फ इतना था कि मैंने काम बहुत किया था ऑन ग्राउंड. मैंने बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ के फ़ायदे उठाए थे जो लोकली अवेलेबल थे मेरे लिए. एंड इन ऑल माई इंटरव्यूज़ फॉर द स्कॉलरशिप्स आई हैड अ लॉट ऑफ अदर स्टूडेंट्स जो कि बहुत बड़ी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के थे, बट दे फेल बिहाइंड मी सिंपली बिकॉज मेरे पास ये सब था कि मैंने जो ऑन ग्राउंड पे काम किया हुआ था. So anybody who wanted to bet on me for a scholarship, for a Commonwealth scholarship, they felt that, okay, this is somebody who's worked on ground throughout her education, who will come back and will do something. So there were people who had that faith in me. And I think that worked in my favor. That set me apart from everyone else, that I had done that work. And जब मैं अपना MPhil भी करने गई, जब मैं Cambridge में थी, I had the best people from Yale, from Stanford, from Harvard. They all came with amazing experiences globally. Somebody had worked in Brazil, somebody had worked in Mexico, somebody had worked in the US. And I mean, मैं थोड़ा daunted थी क्योंकि मैं तो लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी की स्टूडेंट थी and I couldn't write that well. अभी तक तो लखनऊ में तो I was writing very well, but वो जिन रेफरेंसेस के साथ काम कर रहे थे, उनको सोशल साइंसेस के बारे में जितना पता था, उन्होंने जितना पढ़ा था, मैंने उतना नहीं पढ़ा था. मगर मैंने जो किया था ऑन ग्राउंड वो मायने रखता था. They had not done that. So somewhere we were able to share and help each other as peers also. I was able to tell them कि on ground कैसे होती हैं चीज़ें when you actually get down to it. They were able to introduce me to the different schools of thought. And somewhere it worked well. The professors were also very different. सबसे बड़ा difference मेरे लिए ये था कि जहाँ पे लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी के professors चाहते थे कि आप exactly उनके notes के हिसाब से लिखो, and मेरे को कभी कभी कम marks भी मिलते थे उसकी वजह से because I did not ascribe to what my local university wanted me to. Right, I wanted to put my own opinion there. इन अ कैम्ब्रिज दे वांटेड कि आप अपना ओपिनियन रखो, आप केवल उनकी बुक से कोट ना करो, बिकॉज आपके जो प्रोफेसर्स थे, सम ऑफ देम वर इवन नोबेल लॉरेट्स एंड सम ऑफ देम वर द बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट, आई मीन मोस्ट ऑफ देम वर द बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट. सो आपका मन तो करता था कि भाई उसने जो लिखा है उसी को कोट करके लिखो एंड मे बी यू विल गेट बेटर मार्क्स, बट the first thing they said was that you needed to expand your perspective. And that was exactly what I was looking for, that, to be in the company of people who made you think a little bit wider and beyond your immediate limited scope. So yes, Cambridge gave me some of that about how to study better, study smarter, assimilate more information, find the one thread of thought and articulate it better, and then also look deeper at जो हम लखनऊ में देख रहे थे, यूपी में देख रहे थे, बिहार में देख रहे थे, झारखंड में देख रहे थे, अपनी रिसर्च की वजह से, अपने काम की वजह से, अब वो सडनली थोड़ा ग्लोबल हो गया. You were suddenly talking about different countries and different states of problems, different communities, different diverse communities. तो वो सब चीज़ें जब मुझे देखने को मिली तो my mind opened way more. And I would say that studying in a foreign university should not just be your end थप्पा कि मैं कैम्ब्रिज से पढ़ के आई हूँ तो आप मुझे 10 लाख और दो compared to what your salary was previously, but आपको एक ऐसा नेटवर्क मिल जाता है जो आप ग्लोबली अपने उसी प्रॉब्लम को और अच्छे से देख सकते हो. अब आपका पास कोई फ्रेंड होगा जो कि अफ्रीका में बैठा हुआ है या बैठी हुई है, who has already dealt with a particular problem related to, say, nutrition, which you would be seeing for India. And I'm talking specifically in the scope of development. I'll take a pause here and talk a little bit more about development, because अभी तक मैंने जितना किया था, mass comm, rural development, and then an MPhil in development studies, मुझे ये नहीं समझ में आया था कि development studies है क्या, literally. Although मेरा MPhil development studies में था, I was like, where am I fitting in? What is this development studies? And जब भी मैं किसी से मिलती थी, they were like, यार ये development किस चीज़ का development? किसका development? Are you talking about economic development? Are you talking about social development? Are you talking about human development? Is this some computers का development? क्या हो रहा है इस development में? So जब मैं कैम्ब्रिज गई और मैंने ये MPhil किया development studies में, तब मैं थोड़ा इसको और better समझ पाई कि actually development studies as a multidisciplinary subject क्या होता है. And as an interdisciplinary perspective also, uska matlab kya hota hai. So when you look at development studies and you choose it as a course, it basically brings together everything related to social sciences and economics in many ways, and history and psychology, all of these aspects. And when you look at it together, you see कि एक community या फिर एक इंसान का poverty से निकलना या फिर अपनी life को अच्छे से जीना, इक्वली जीना, एक मीनिंगफुली जीना, उसके लिए क्या कंडीशंस चाहिए होते हैं. लाइक इफ यू लुक एट एवरीबडी अराउंड यू, फॉर एवरीवन टू बी हैप्पी फॉर इंस्टेंस, और फॉर एवरीवन टू फील वर्दी एंड रिस्पेक्टेड, what are the conditions that are required? What is it that a government has to do? What is it that the individual has to do? What is it that the market has to do? All of those aspects. So development studies जब आप पढ़ते हो तो आप थोड़ा समझते हो कि इसका रिलेशनशिप क्या है इन सब चीज़ों का, उस कम्युनिटी का, विद द गवर्नमेंट, विद एवरीथिंग. एंड आप कुछ स्किल्स सीखते हो. जैसे आपको अगर रिसर्च करना है तो रिसर्च के अंदर मॉनिटरिंग एंड इवैल्यूएशन कैसे होता है. कोई भी प्रोग्राम अगर डिज़ाइन होता है, जैसे बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ, बहुत पुराना आंदोलन हो गया हमारा, या फिर अभी जिस प्रोग्राम को मैं लीड कर रही थी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ यूपी के लिए, ज़ीरो पॉवर्टी अभियान, उसको अगर आप डिज़ाइन करोगे एक एंटी पॉवर्टी स्कीम को, या फिर अगर आप किसी वाटर की स्कीम को डिज़ाइन करें, जैसे स्वजल है, या फिर एक्सीलरेटेड रूरल वाटर सप्लाई है, या फिर हर घर नल योजना है, और एनीथिंग अगेंस्ट पोलियो. तो ये जो स्कीम्स जो डिज़ाइन होती हैं गवर्नमेंट की, जो जिसके ऊपर बहुत स्पेंडिंग होती है एट अ लार्ज स्केल, उसमें हम इंक्लूजन को कैसे देख सकते हैं कि सब लोगों के लिए वो एप्लीकेबल हो. फॉर इंस्टेंस, एक अगर कोई डिसेबल्ड है तो वो नल किस तरह का लगना चाहिए उसके घर में, वो टॉयलेट कैसा बनना चाहिए उसके घर में, क्या वो पहुंच पाएगा अपना राशन लेने के लिए एट अ पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन, या फिर वो राशन देने के लिए उसके घर आना चाहिए. सो डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज इन सम वेज टीचेस यू हाउ टू डिज़ाइन प्रोग्राम्स दैट हेल्प बिल्ड एक्विटी, हेल्प बिल्ड सोसाइटी इन मैनी वेज. एंड डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज़ करने के बाद आपकी जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ होती हैं, आप गवर्नमेंट को ज्वाइन कर सकते हो. डेफिनेटली बहुत सारी कंसल्टेंसीज हैं, जैसे बिग फोर हैं. मैंने खुद PwC में काम किया है, प्राइस वाटर हाउस कूपर्स. आई वाज देयर फॉर 4.5 years working with several governments and also globally with them. You can work with NGOs, you can work with the World Bank, you can work with the UN, you can work with various funding agencies like the Gates Foundation and many others that are there. इंडिया में भी बहुत सारी फंडिंग है, अजीम प्रेम जी फाउंडेशन है, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो कि पैसा दे, जैसे अगर आप डेवलपमेंट को देखो तो एक ग्रुप होता है जो कि पैसा देता है प्रोग्राम के लिए, एक ग्रुप होता है जो कि इम्प्लीमेंट करता है ऑन ग्राउंड जिनको एनजीओज कहते हैं, एक ग्रुप गवर्नमेंट ही होती है, एक ग्रुप होता है कंसल्टेंसीज जो कि इन सारे प्रोग्राम्स को असेस करते हैं, देखते हैं कि ये एफिशिएंटली काम कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, और वो देखते हैं कि इसमें फॉर इंस्टेंस जेंडर को हम एड्रेस कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, कि विमेन को भी इक्वली मिल रहा है, अदर जेंडर्स को भी इक्वली मिल रहा है कंपेयर टू अदर्स. सो बहुत सारे एस्पेक्ट्स होते हैं इसमें एंड बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज होती हैं डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में. अगर आपको क्विकली देखना है कि क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज अवेलेबल हैं डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में, आप एक सिंपल एक वेबसाइट पे चले जाइए reliefweb.com पे, या फिर आप चले जाइए devnetjobs.com पे, एंड आपको इतने सारे स्पेशलाइज्ड जॉब्स दिख जाएंगे. मतलब कि फ्रॉम बीइंग अ चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन ऑफिसर टू बीइंग अ expert in disability to many other options. And the best thing about the development sector जो मैंने सीखा, because मैंने बहुत तरह के काम किए within this sector now, from consulting to research to direct implementation to monitoring and evaluation, is that आप constantly कुछ ना कुछ नया कर सकते हो. You're not stuck with one thing. So the development sector is a great place for someone who's not sure कि मुझे exactly क्या करना है. जैसे मैं थी, मेरे पास सिर्फ इतना था कि मुझे कुछ meaningful काम करना है, कुछ wide ranging canvas चाहिए जिसमें मैं अपने आप को express कर सकूं, and जो भी मैं करूं वो सिर्फ अपने लिए नहीं but for a larger community करूं. I had a very strong sense of wanting to work with communities and wanting to work with people. And I also had a very deep sense of gender equity. मतलब कि मेरे अंदर वो था कि women and girls should have equal rights. And this is, you know, back in the 2000s जब मैंने काम भी करना शुरू किया था, and back home also I'd seen people didn't respect girls who were entering the work life. You know, जब मैंने अपना पहला जॉब लिया था तो आप अगर गवर्नमेंट मीटिंग में जाते थे तो आपको साइड पे बिठा दिया जाता था कि आप नोट्स लीजिए. You know, I mean, just 20 years back when I used to enter a meeting, I would be like, अच्छा मैम आप जाके नोट्स लिखिए, या फिर मैडम आप तो फील्ड जा नहीं पाएंगी, आप तो वो देख नहीं पाएंगी. There were so many assumptions about you, and कहीं ना कहीं वो मुझे बहुत prick करता था. And I always thought that someday I wanted to rise up to a level where somebody would not be able to put me down and tell me कि मुझे क्या काम करना है. But I would be in a position where they would be like, मैम आप क्या सोचती हैं? What is your view on this matter? Can you please help us in this? So somewhere मेरा personal जो वो था वो ये था कि as a woman, I want to do all those things in terms of decision making, in terms of power relations, in terms of funding किसी को देना या फिर नहीं देना, या फिर evaluation design करना, research लिखना. I wanted to be someone who was able to do that. And I think that today, after a long period of working very hard, I'm able to do all of that I wanted to then. And that's only come because मैंने बहुत immerse करके अपने आप को हर एक सेक्टर से जुड़ करके विद इन द डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर, चाहे वो डिसेबिलिटी है, वुमेन है, गवर्नमेंट के साथ काम करना है, बच्चों के साथ काम करना है, पॉवर्टी में काम करना है, हर एक के साथ मैंने काम करने की कोशिश करी है. सो आई कम बैक टू द सेक्टर इटसेल्फ. डेवलपमेंट एज आई सेड मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी है, ये सब अलग अलग जॉब्स हो सकते हैं. आप डेवनेट जॉब्स पे जाके देखेंगे तो आपको उनकी अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी पता चलेंगी, स्पेशलाइजेशंस क्या है. अभिषेक ने एक क्वेश्चन मुझे पहले बोला था कि इसमें चैलेंजेस क्या आते हैं. एंड आई वुड से कि सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट अगर आप बोलो तो वो आपके टाइम का होता है. डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर अनलाइक आपके जो फ्रेंड्स हैं जो कि कंप्यूटर्स कर रहे होंगे, या फिर यू नो दिल बी इन सम सॉफ्टवेयर थिंग और लाइक यू नो बैंकिंग और समथिंग एल्स, इट्स वेरी क्लियर कि हर 2 साल के बाद उनका एक या फिर 1 साल के बाद एक इंक्रीमेंट होगा. यू नो, इट्स वेरी क्लियर दैट दिल बी वेरी हाईली पेड फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट. डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में जॉब्स आर नॉट वेरी हाईली पेड फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट. इट्स वेरी बेसिक, बिकॉज आप शुरुआत में कम्युनिटी के साथ काम कर रहे हो तो मोस्ट ऑफ द मनी जो कि एनजीओ के पास होता है वो कम्युनिटी पे ही खर्च होता है, और एक जूनियर लेवल एसोसिएट और एक जूनियर लेवल पर्सन को थोड़ा कम मिलता है. अगर मनी आपके लिए एक बहुत बड़ा क्राइटेरिया है, सो आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आप डेवलपमेंट कंसल्टेंसीज में ज्वाइन कीजिए. आप अपने रिसर्च, राइटिंग एंड जनरल प्रेजेंटेशन को इम्प्रूव कीजिए, एंड बिग 4 में से किसी को ज्वाइन कीजिए, बिकॉज आपको वो 2 साल का जो एक्सपीरियंस होगा, जो थोड़ा कॉर्पोरेटाइज सोशल सेक्टर का एक्सपीरियंस होता है, उसमें आपको अच्छी सैलरीज भी मिलेंगी, एंड आगे के लिए एक फास्ट ट्रैक promotion भी मिलेगी for any funding agency that you may join or any NGO that you may join, you will get a higher leadership position. तो जो रगड़ा आपको 10 साल खाना पड़ता है from starting from community level work and going up धीरे धीरे करके, वो आप थोड़ा short track कर सकते हो अगर आप smartly किसी बिग फोर में काम कर लो या किसी और कंसल्टेंसी में काम कर लो. However, मैं इसको रेकमेंड इसीलिए उन लोगों के लिए कर रही हूँ जो कि अच्छी सैलरीज जल्दी अर्न करना चाहते हैं. पर जो लोग डीप काम करना चाहते हैं, चीज़ों को समझ के काम करना चाहते हैं, उनको मैं ज़रूर कहूँगी कि आप रगड़ा खाते हुए थोड़ा सा एकेडमिकली एज वेल एज अलग अलग NGOs, अलग अलग जोग्राफीज में अलग अलग कम्युनिटीज़ के साथ काम करके अपना रिस्पेक्ट एंड अपना स्पेस ओन कीजिए एंड अर्न कीजिए. बिग फोर के साथ काम करने के बाद काफ़ी सारी क्रिएटिविटी भी खत्म हो जाती है आपकी, बिकॉज वो बहुत ही क्विक टर्न अराउंड टाइम्स के साथ काम करते हैं और डेप्थ के साथ काम नहीं करते हैं. बट इट इज़ अ गुड एक्सपीरियंस इफ यू वॉन्ट टू अर्न अ लॉट ऑफ मनी इवेंचुअली. Definitely do recommend it for that. Now, if I come back to the challenge, as I said, one was the salary part, which is in the starting is not very good. Later, when you come up to a certain level of 15 to 16 years in the sector, you can up to 32 lakhs to 40 lakhs per annum. You get corporate level salaries and even more than that, depending upon a foreign agency के साथ काम कर रहे हो, किसके साथ कर रहे हो. But again, it depends कि आपने कहाँ कहाँ काम किया है. डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में अगर आपने दिल्ली में बैठ के ही सारा काम किया है तो आपकी रिस्पेक्ट नहीं होगी उतनी. अगर आपने ग्राउंड पे काम किया, जैसे आपने जाकर के छत्तीसगढ़ में काम किया है, झारखंड में काम किया है, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में काम किया है, हो सकता है अफ्रीका में काम किया है या नेपाल में काम किया है, तो आपकी वैल्यू बढ़ेगी. तो आप जितना दूर जाओगे फ्रॉम द सेंटर वेयर द डिसीजंस आर मेड, आप जितना कम्युनिटी के पास रहोगे जहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम है, उतना ज़्यादा आपकी वैल्यू बढ़ेगी, बिकॉज यू विल ब्रिंग दैट वेल्थ ऑफ नॉलेज. So that's one. Third is ki, in terms of challenges, definitely if you are somebody now, I don't think that the gender problem is as strong as it used to be. मगर कहीं ना कहीं वो रहता है, because बहुत सारे ऐसे वर्क होते हैं डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में जो आपको जाके जंगल में भी काम करना है. लाइक आई हैड टू स्टे इन द जंगल फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम इन झारखंड जब मैं अपना PhD कर रही थी ऑन द माओइस्ट मूवमेंट. बहुत सारी लड़कियों को डर लगता है इससे. could be other genders also feel scared of that, but it is part of your learning experience that you have to push yourself and be on ground. You have to be with the community. अगर आप ट्राइबल डेवलपमेंट पे काम कर रहे हो और आप ट्राइबल गांव में नहीं जाके रह रहे हो, तो आपकी लर्निंग कंप्लीट नहीं है. आप सिर्फ एक कोर्स कर रहे हो ट्राइबल डेवलपमेंट में और आपने ऐसी ट्राइबल्स के साथ नहीं रहे हो, उनसे नहीं सीखे हो, तो आपकी वो वैल्यू नहीं रहेगी. सो यू नीड टू बैलेंस एंड ब्लेंड योर सेल्फ इन दैट वे ऑल्सो, दैट थोड़ा सा फेयरलेस होना पड़ता है इस वाले काम को लेने के लिए. आप अगर स्लम में जाके काम कर रहे हो और वहाँ पर कम्युनिटी कभी भी वायलेंट हो सकती है, कुछ लोग ड्रंक होते हैं, कुछ लोग आपके अगेंस्ट हो सकते हैं कि आप क्या आके पढ़ा रहे हो. आपको इंटरनली बहुत स्ट्रांग होना पड़ता है उन चीज़ों को डील करने के लिए. आप हो सकता है कि टर्मिनली इल पेशेंट्स के साथ काम कर रहे हो एंड डेथ इज़ एन एवरीडे एक्सपीरियंस, या फिर आप माइग्रेंट्स के साथ काम कर रहे हो, आपका मन करता है कि मैं कुछ और करूँ टू हेल्प देम, एंड दिस इज़ आई वांट टू स्पेंड माई ओन मनी, मैम मैं इसके साथ डील नहीं कर सकती. तो वो बाउंड्रीज ड्रॉ करना भी बड़ा मुश्किल होता है, बिकॉज आपको डेली बेसिस पे बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें देखनी पड़ेंगी जो कि बहुत डिस्टर्बिंग होती हैं. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू बी अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग पर्सन और अलॉन्ग द वे बिकम स्ट्रॉन्ग इफ यू वांट टू एक्सीड एंड एक्सेल इन द डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर. डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में एक और स्पेस है जो कि बहुत ही क्रिएटिव स्पेस है, जो कि है स्टोरी टेलिंग एंड राइटिंग एंड फोटोग्राफी एंड वीडियो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन एट्सेट्रा. सो अगर आप मास कम्युनिकेशन के स्टूडेंट हैं या फिर आप बहुत क्रिएटिव हैं, आपको अच्छा लगता है स्टोरी टेलिंग करना, तो और आप जनरली कम्युनिटी के साथ डायरेक्टली काम नहीं करना चाहते, तो दैट इज़ वन स्पेस विच इज़ अ लिटिल मोर सैनिटाइज्ड, जो कि इतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं है काम करने के लिए, एंड इट इज़ वेल पेड ऑल्सो. सो if I was to talk about challenges, pros and cons, there's one option that's there as well. I'll take a pause here in case Abhishek or anyone has any questions about what I've said so far before I go into the next part in terms of planning a PhD, etc.
Right. Thank you so much, Shinjini. Those of you who've joined after the session got started at 8, let me tell you that we will pause around 8:45 or 8:50 to take in questions from the audiences. Until then, I have a lot of questions for Shinjini. I'm pretty sure she has a lot of stuff left to share. But I'll take questions from the participants around 8:45 or 8:50. Now, before we move forward, Shinjini, I'm just so glad that we started with you because one, of course, like I mentioned, the lazy way of thinking is that once you've taken up humanities or social sciences, the only thing you can do is civil services or become a professor. And the second thing is that there's so much of hard work that goes into actually procuring a fellowship or a scholarship to at Cambridge, and most of the stories that people have heard are of people from Delhi, Bombay, who went to tier one universities, who went to fancy schools. I am guessing there aren't a lot of people who did a master's from Amity and ended up in Cambridge. I'm probably thinking you're the only one. Did
No way.
that work against you? Did you ever feel at Cambridge or afterwards that the fact that you didn't come from a great college was holding you back somehow?
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Abhishek. And I'll say that, uh, जब मैंने 12th खत्म किया था, at that point in time, my family and I come from a civil services background, बहुत clear थे कि किसी अच्छी दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के कॉलेज में जाना चाहिए. मेरा एडमिशन हुआ था दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में, but personal took over those decisions, and my grandmother wanted me to continue staying in Lucknow, and I decided to stay in Lucknow eventually. And I'm really glad कि मैंने एक छोटे शहर में रहना प्रेफर किया और एक एमिटी में गई, बिकॉज वो लास्ट मिनट कॉन्वर्सेशन था कि भाई जर्नलिज्म करना है, कोई और यूनिवर्सिटी थी ही नहीं लखनऊ में जो कि जर्नलिज्म प्रोवाइड कर रही थी, और वो एक ज़माना था जब हम सब बरखा दत्त बनना चाहते थे. कोई भी लड़की जो अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस करना चाहती थी, एनी गर्ल हु वाज wanting to have a role in the larger society in some ways and be able to speak better and do better would take on journalism and a journalism course. Journalism honors had just started as a course at that point, and yeah, so Amity was the only one giving it, and I took it. It did hold me back, I have to say. It did hold me back, I will be honest, कि आप एक प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी से हो, क्या वो रिकग्नाइज भी है कि नहीं, क्योंकि मैंने बीए करने के बाद टिस में अप्लाई किया था MSW के लिए, बिकॉज मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगने लगा था मास कॉम के साथ सोशल वर्क करना. मैं उस एनजीओ के साथ काम कर रही थी एहसास में, तो मैं MSW के लिए गई थी टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट सोशल साइंसेज में, एंड आई पास द एग्जाम एक्सेट्रा, मगर इंटरव्यू में मुझे फेल कर दिया जब उनको पता चला कि मैं एमिटी से हूँ. तो लाइक एक प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी की स्टूडेंट को क्या पता होगा सोशल वर्क के बारे में, और आपको कोई आइडिया भी नहीं होगा कि क्या, मतलब कि उनको इमीडिएटली लगा कि आप बहुत ही वेल्दी फैमिली से हो या बैकग्राउंड से हो, कि आप प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी से आ रहे हो तो आप क्या करोगे. एंड दे रियली पुट मी डाउन ड्यूरिंग माई MSW इंटरव्यू, एंड इट रियली हर्ट मी अ लॉट दैट इन्होंने मुझे वक्त भी नहीं दिया कुछ बताने के लिए. एंड एक्चुअली मेरे कॉलेज में इतना एक्सपोजर नहीं था जितना दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के कॉलेजेस का थिएटर का था और उन सब चीज़ों का था. whether it was films and other things that were the art circuit, वो सब नहीं था मेरे पास लखनऊ में at that stage. And I thought to myself कि ठीक है, आज रिजेक्ट कर रही हो, but I will come again. And I have to say कि मैंने टिस में फिर अपने MPhil के लिए भी अप्लाई किया and PhD, and I got through both. Because again, I had this thing at the back of my mind कि अगर मेरा कैम्ब्रिज में या किसी फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं होता है, I do want to have a backup plan in India for a good PhD and for a good MPhil. For that, at that point, it was an MPhil, and I had applied at TIS. So yes, the private university tag was very negative in India. एंड ऑल्सो व्हेन आई वेंट अब्रॉड टू कैम्ब्रिज, तो वहाँ पर भी लोगों सब पूछ रहे थे कि तुम तो ऑब्वियसली स्टीफन्स की होगी, या फिर यू मस्ट बी फ्रॉम सम स्कूल, इफ यू फ्रॉम लखनऊ तो तुम लमाटनिया की होगी. दोज प्रेजुडिसेस वर ऑल देयर, एंड आई वाज नॉट फ्रॉम एनी ऑफ दोज बिग लेबल्स. सो it would always throw me back a little bit, but then I took it in my stride because मैंने काम इतना किया हुआ था, इतने experiences थे कि something kept me apart from everybody else. बट येस, मैंने और किसी से मुलाकात नहीं की थी वहाँ पे जो कि एक छोटी यूनिवर्सिटी या फिर एक प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी से था या थे. इट वॉज डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड सच पीपल बिकॉज they had not got the opportunity to work as much as I had along with my college degrees. The positive of going to an Amity was that I had learned certain skills in mass communication which held me apart. Like जब मैं presentation बनाती थी तो वो इतनी amazing corporate presentation होती थी कि वो एक regular Delhi University का student वैसा नहीं बना पाता था या बना पाते थे. So I was very prepared in a corporate way to present my work better, जो कि एक private university ही कर सकती है आपको. So in that sense, I think it held me well, that I was very confident about the quality of my presentation skills, which only an Amity could have given me. I don't think a good Delhi University college could have prepared you for that kind of corporate presentation style. Yeah, so that's there.
Right, all right. Thanks, Shanjini. One of the probably the most fascinating thing for me during your entire 30-minute talk was the fact that you said that development is also, and probably especially for people who are not very clear about what they want to do, and which I, from my experience of teaching students in this age group, is that most of them do not really know what they want to do. And if you really think that you're sorted in your head and you want to pursue a career in academia or civil services, I think it probably comes from your family and your peer circles. So the fact that development sector is something that is open to people from all backgrounds, and for especially for people who are not sure what exactly they want to do, is what makes this very fascinating. And starting this series with you. Now, one thing, Shinjiri, at Incisive, during the 12-month classroom program, what we do is we teach a little bit of everything, right? So there's a little bit of history and a little bit of sociology and a little bit of science and a little bit of maths and English. And you touched upon the idea of interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity, and the fact that you worked as a journalist, as a social worker in NGOs, and then pursued a degree in development in a professional space, a professional research space. How much do you think this contributed to your eventual success in the career? The fact that you had experiences in multiple areas of work, and the fact that you were not an expert as such in any undergrad discipline or master's discipline or any one particular area. Like you were not a sociologist or a political scientist or only a media person.
Yeah, yeah. No, thanks so much, Abhishek. Actually, that has been the biggest thing. And abhi bhi agar मैं कोई interview देती हूँ and मैं देती रहती हूँ, another tip that I'll give anybody who's preparing for anything in life is कि interviews देते रहो. It really helps you think about what you actually want. So you know, a lot of people ask me that and they appreciate that I'm a generalist and I have a certain group, a certain core skill set, which helps me fit into many roles in leadership also now. So, you know, development sector in itself, as I said, you have the direct implementation trajectory, you have the consulting trajectory, you have the monitoring and evaluation. You have so many different trajectories to take. And आप सेक्टर में फ्लो कर सकते हो एक से दूसरे में, unlike say medicine where you if you any other job, I mean, like I'm just taking medicine which is very highly specific and skilled, but if you take marketing for instance, you know, there is very specific even in marketing कि अगर आप एक रूरल मार्केटिंग करते हो तो दैट्स योर स्पेस, यू नो, दैट्स योर नीश स्पेस. डेवलपमेंट में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. डेवलपमेंट में आप जो भी करते हो वो किसी और चीज़ से इंटर रिलेटेड होता है. तो मान लो आप डायरेक्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कर रहे हो, आज कम्युनिटी को, आज बच्चों को पढ़ा रहे हो, कल आप इजीली डॉक्यूमेंटेशन में जा सकते हो, परसों आप पॉलिसी का काम कर सकते हो. एंड अगर आप एक एनजीओ में काम करते हो तो इनवेरेबली आप 4-5 तरह की चीजें साइमल्टेनियसली कर रहे होगे. यू मे बी लुकिंग एट फाइनेंस, यू मे बी लुकिंग एट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, you may be looking at direct implementation, you may be looking at research. And it's fantastic because supposing you're between your undergrad and your masters and you haven't decided कि मुझे क्या करना है, अगर आप 1 या 1.5 साल निकाल करके एक एनजीओ के साथ काम कर रहे हो तो आपको बहुत सारी चीजें सीखने को मिलेंगी एंड आप अपने मास्टर्स को उस तरीके से नुआंस कर सकते हो. मैंने अपना एमफिल डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज में एंड पीएचडी भी डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज में इसलिए चुना, एंड स्पेसिफिकली विद इन यू नो आदिवासी राइट्स एंड आदिवासी हिस्ट्री एंड द माओइस्ट मूवमेंट, नॉट बिकॉज कल मैं सिर्फ आदिवासी ग्रुप्स के साथ काम करूंगी, बट बिकॉज दैट वाज वन ऑफ द एरियाज वेयर आई थॉट कि बहुत सारे चीज़ें हैं जो मेरे को एक तरह से लेवरेज कर पाऊंगी मैं आगे जाकर के व्हेन आई टेक ऑन अ फॉर्मल जॉब इन द सेक्टर इटसेल्फ. एंड आई वाज वेरी क्लियर कि जो भी मैं करूंगी वो डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर से कहीं ना कहीं जुड़ा होगा. जब मैं कॉर्पोरेट में भी गई, बिकॉज मैं अपने पीएचडी के बाद पीडब्ल्यूसी में मैंने ज्वाइन किया था, सो दे अप्रिसिएटेड कि मैंने इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का काम पहले किया था एंड मल्टीपल अदर थिंग्स. सो इवन दो आई वाज डूइंग कॉर्पोरेट लेवल वर्क, social sector advisory across India and then also for several other countries, they always appreciated कि आपने development studies किया है and development studies के अंदर 4-5 तरह की चीज़ें करी हुई हैं. So that generalist role help you fit into multiple projects. So yeah, I would say that if you're not too sure and you want at least 3, 4, 5 years to figure out क्या करना है, तो डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर इज अ ग्रेट डिसीजन. एंड आपको सिविल सर्वेंट्स के साथ काम करने को मिलेगा, मोस्टली आपको सिविल सर्वेंट्स एंड गवर्नमेंट के साथ काम करने को मिलेगा, एंड आपको देखने को मिलेगा कि actually you're very lucky that you didn't crack the civil services exam. I'm very open to saying that because you can do way more.
All right, of course. So you worked in that space where you are working both with the state and permanent bureaucracy, which is SDMs and DMs and ATMs and so on.
Yeah.
So, what does that workspace look like, Shinjini? Because for a lot of people, ultimate power is vested in bureaucracy, right? For them, the boss is an IAS officer. So when you're in a space where you're, let's say, in a consulting space and you are leading a zero poverty abhiyan in UP and you're working with a lot of bureaucrats, how does that space look like? Like, how do you interact with
Yeah.
the state and the bureaucrats?
सो जस्ट टू एक्सप्लेन जीरो पॉवर्टी अभियान अगर आप विकिपीडिया को भी खोल के देखें क्योंकि हमारी वेबसाइट टिपिकल गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट की तरह आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा उस पर यू मस्ट लुक एट द विकिपीडिया पेज विच इज लिटिल बेटर इन्फॉर्म्ड. It's a very large scale government program. We're working with 12,36,000 families. 13 government departments के साथ काम कर रहे हैं and chief secretary का office, chief secretary is the highest authority when it comes to the IS for any state. एंड चीफ मिनिस्टर्स ऑफिस के साथ हम लोग काम करते हैं, उनको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं इस प्रोग्राम को डिलीवर करने में. एक बहुत ही हम्बलिंग एक्सपीरियंस होता है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के साथ करना, ब्यूरोक्रेट्स के साथ, इतने सीनियर लेवल के ब्यूरोक्रेट्स के साथ काम करना एंड जूनियर मोस्ट लेवल पे भी. सो आई वर्क with the chief minister's office, the chief secretary, as well as with your local lekpal and your local gram sahayak. So my range is starting from right up there to all the way down. एंड जब आप इनके साथ काम करते हो आप रियलाइज करते हो कि कितना कुछ इनके शोल्डर्स के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. दे हैव सो मच on them and on their plates, which is why they have people like us to help them in technical assistance. So development sector के जो लोग होते हैं वो गवर्नमेंट के साथ बहुत क्लोजली काम करते हैं जनरली, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट की ही प्रायोरिटी है इंडिविजुअल्स को डेवलपमेंट प्रोवाइड करना एंड उनको in a way support karna unki growth ko. As I said initially, what is it, what is development? It basically comes down to helping society thrive in many ways, right? तो गवर्नमेंट का प्रयास यही रहता है कि चाहे वो हेल्थ हो, एजुकेशन हो, कोई भी एंटी पॉवर्टी का प्रोग्राम हो, उसको डिलीवर करना है. उसकी डिलीवरी में हम जैसे लोग मदद करते हैं. कैसे मदद करते हैं? चाहे वो टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू हो, चाहे वो देखने में हो कि कौन छूट रहा है, क्या हो रहा है उस प्रोग्राम में. वी आर द हैंड्स एंड फीट इन मेनी वेज. एंड सो वर्किंग विद दीज पीपल, नंबर वन यू रियलाइज कि कितना ज़्यादा लोड है उनके ऊपर इन टर्म्स ऑफ द मैंडेट दैट दे हैव, कितने सारे डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं. ऑल्सो कितना इनर्शिया है क्योंकि उनको इतना कुछ देखने को मिलता है ऑन अ डेली बेसिस इन टर्म्स ऑफ जस्ट द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ थिंग्स दे हैव टू डू. लाइक अगर उनको विडो पेंशन बनानी है एक दिन में तो कुछ 4,000 विडो पेंशन बनानी है, तो उसको बनाने में ही, ग्राउंड पे जाके करने में ही इतना मुश्किल हो जाता है उनके लिए इन अ नॉन सिस्टमैटिक वे, बिकॉज द सेम पर्सन ऑल्सो हैज टू डू 6 अदर थिंग्स. So it's very overwhelming watching them and watching them being overwhelmed in that ways. But at the same time you realize कि अगर आप उनके साथ अच्छे से काम करोगे, अगर आप उनको इनपुट्स दोगे और आप ऑन ग्राउंड अच्छे से इन्फॉर्म्ड हो कि क्या हो रहा है, कैसे इसको और बेहतर तरीके से किया जा सकता है, कैसे कन्वर्जेंस आ सकती है बिटवीन डिपार्टमेंट्स, तो वो आपको बहुत वैल्यू करते हैं, वो आपको छोड़ना नहीं चाहते. दे वांट यू टू बी विद देम एंड दे वांट यू टू वर्क विद देम. And they want you to find the problems and the solutions because they can't talk to each other all the time. But because you can circulate and go and talk to multiple people, you can bring back intelligence and tell them that sir, इस डिपार्टमेंट में ऐसे हो रहा है, आपके डिपार्टमेंट में अगर हम ऐसे ज्वाइन करके चलें तो ये एक बेनिफिट हो सकता है. तो those kind of things really work well and teach you a lot about actually काम कैसे होता है on ground. But yes, it's very frustrating. It's not easy. It's very difficult. There are no Saturdays and Sundays. there are no holidays. It's very deep work. But at the same time, it's very rewarding because आप इतनी large number of people के लिए काम कर रहे हो, इतने large mandate के लिए जो कि एक पूरे country का size हो सकता है in many cases. You're working for the benefit of so many people. You feel like मुझे कुछ extra करना चाहिए. तो एक बहुत ही पैशनेट इंडिविजुअल की ज़रूरत होती है ऐसे जॉब्स के लिए. यू कैन नॉट बी समवन who is not very sure of themselves when you're working with government. अगर आप डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हो तो then government isn't the place to go and explore. Government is a place where you go after you have explored and when you're clear about the systems within the government and when you are willing to understand and willing to listen. The biggest thing is कि अगर आप एक opinionated इंसान हो जैसे मैं हूँ, it's very difficult to sit in a government meeting and not express your opinion unless you are asked to express it. So I'll stop at that. So that's where I am.
All right. Okay. One more question before I go to the participants here. Let's say you're not working with the government and you are in the development space and especially working for an agency that depends on foreign funding. which is the case for a lot of NGOs today. And given the fact that such funding is in short supply, especially if you're working for the rights of certain sections of the society, how do you navigate this space? Let's say you're not working for the government and you are working for, let's say, the transgender rights or some anti-caste group, or working for the workers, most importantly. It's a slightly left-leaning space, or working for Muslims in a place where it's difficult to work for them. How do you work in the development sector if this is the niche that you've chosen for yourself, and you don't want to work with the governments?
So thanks for that, Abhishek. Again, I mean, all your questions are incisive. This is a space I worked in as well, where I worked with the Dalit Action Group, I worked with a minorities group, I worked with trans persons in Delhi, and in सब groups में इतनी hatred होती है towards the state because they have systematically been put at the margins in so many ways, and वो एक अपने आप में एक सब्जेक्ट है कि वो एक तो गवर्नमेंट उनको ट्रस्ट नहीं करता है और वो गवर्नमेंट को ट्रस्ट नहीं करते इन मेनी वेज, इवन इफ इट्स सर्टन। अभी आप देख रहे होगे कि केन बेतवा में जो चल रहा है उसमें इतने सारे आदिवासी कम्युनिटीज आर प्रोटेस्टिंग। कुछ साल पहले when I started and when I joined the sector, it was because I felt that there was a space to protest in the sector. When we all joined the non-profit sector back then, we felt कि हम हमने एक वजह से ही ज्वाइन किया था कि हम गवर्नमेंट के साथ नहीं काम करेंगे, हम कुछ अलग करेंगे। अगर गवर्नमेंट कुछ गलत करता है तो या फिर समथिंग दैट इज नॉट इन द फेवर ऑफ द पीपल, तो हम उसके अगेंस्ट आवाज़ उठा पाएंगे। मगर अब वैसे नहीं हो पाता है बिकॉज देयर सर्टन रूल्स एंड फंडिंग दैट विल नॉट कम योर वे इफ यू आर सीन टू बी in an anti-state situation, which is the reality of the development sector now. That everything has to be with what the state is saying. It cannot be in protest to the state. You may give a recommendation, but you cannot protest against. And ये एक बहुत डिफिकल्ट स्पेस हो गया है। अब आप फॉरेन फंड्स भी नहीं ला सकते हो अगर आप कुछ ऐसी एक्टिविटी करना चाहते हो जो कि गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का मैंडेट नहीं है इन सम वेज। जैसे मान लीजिए कि सेक्शन 377 है, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें अराउंड ट्रांस। सपोजिंग यू वांट टू वर्क even on children in of a certain community and unki education or protecting their rights. फॉर इंस्टेंस एक एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं दूंगी, जैसे नोमैड्स के साथ आप मान लो काम करना चाहते हैं और गवर्नमेंट चाहती है कि वो नोमैड्स स्कूल्स में इनरोल हो, मगर आप चाहते हो और आप जानते हो कि कल्चरली ये जो नोमैड्स हैं ये स्कूल में नहीं जाना चाहते, ये घुमंटू कम्युनिटीज़ हैं, दे हैव अ डिफरेंट idea about life, they have a different idea about education, and that should be protected. So you're in conflict with the state in that situation, and you have to find a middle path. So now initially what we would have done is हम लोग नारे लगाते और हम बोलते कि नहीं ये ऐसा है वैसा है और हम अपील करते और उसको अलाउ करवाते। अब वैसा नहीं होता है, अब आपको एक ब्लेंड करना पड़ता है। उनको अगर आइडेंटिटी डॉक्यूमेंट्स चाहिए तो उनको स्कूल जाना ही पड़ेगा, उनका अगर कल्चरल प्रोटेक्ट करना है तो उसके लिए आपको स्पेसेस बनाने पड़ेंगे। तो जो अब फंडिंग मिलती है और जो अब एनजीओज करते हैं वो यही है कि कुछ सेफ स्पेसेस क्रिएट करते हैं कम्युनिटीज़ के लिए कि वो अपने आप को इंडिविजुअली और एट अ कम्युनिटी लेवल कैन एक्सप्रेस देयर एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ मार्जिनलाइजेशन और देयर कल्चर एट्सेट्रा। ये एक बहुत ही नीश एरिया है, एक बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट एरिया है नेविगेट करने के लिए। इसके लिए जो फॉरेन फंडिंग भी आती है बहुत मुश्किल से मिलती है। तो अब कम्युनिटीज़ अपने आप ही इन चीज़ों को क्रिएट कर रहे हैं। आप महाराष्ट्र में अगर नोमैडिक कम्युनिटीज़ को देखिए तो वो खुद ही थोड़ा थोड़ा पैसा इकट्ठा करके अपने लिए ये स्पेसेस क्रिएट करते हैं और अपनी लर्निंग को नर्चर करते हैं। अब वो फॉरेन फंडिंग के ऊपर भी डिपेंड नहीं करना चाहते इन चीज़ों के लिए। इनिशियली अ लॉट ऑफ एनजीओज वांटेड टू डिपेंड एंड वांटेड फंडिंग फ्रॉम से Sweden, etc., where such funding was easily available for their rights and for their cultures, etc. Now it's changed a little bit. The communities themselves try to gather a little bit of money, and एनजीओ सेक्टर में भी बहुत बदलाव आया है। पहले एनजीओ सेक्टर में बहुत ही इलीट परिवारों के लोग आते थे और उठान का काम करते थे फॉर द फैमिलीज, एंड दे वुड ट्राई एंड डू समथिंग एज सोशल सर्विस। अब उसी कम्युनिटी के लोग सामने आ रहे हैं, अपने मुद्दों को सामने रख रहे हैं और अपनी तरह से अपने एनजीओज को चला रहे हैं, विच इज़ वेरी रिफ्रेशिंग। एंड आई वॉज पार्ट of before I joined the government of UP for the zero poverty abhiyan, when I was working with PCI, I was part of Dasra, which is a very interesting organization to work with. I would highly recommend it for young people who want to work in Bombay with an organization that is somewhere between funding agency and NGO. Dasra का एक बहुत interesting program था called, और एक fund था called the Rebuild India Fund. So within the development sector, there's something known as philanthropy also. सो एक होता है गवर्नमेंट के साथ काम करना, एक होता है डायरेक्ट काम करना एनजीओ की तरह कम्युनिटी के साथ, और एक होता है फिलैंथ्रोफी। फिलैंथ्रोफी इज बेसिकली रिच परिवार एंड हाई नेट इंडिविजुअल या फिर फैमिली फाउंडेशंस जो होती हैं, जैसे रिलायंस फाउंडेशन है, तरसादिया फाउंडेशन, ऐसे बहुत बड़ी बड़ी कार्टिया फाउंडेशन है। रिच फैमिलीज के जो मनी होते हैं उसको एक सोशल इन्वेस्टमेंट में या फिर सोशल कॉजेज में कैसे इन्वेस्ट करना है। सो इट्स अ बिट लाइक सोशल इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग इन सम वेज। सो फिलैंथ्रोफी वर्क्स इन वेज कि हम कैसे कम्युनिटीज को या फिर इंडिविजुअल्स को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं यूजिंग फैमिली मनी और सर्टन कंपनीज का मनी टू डू इट। So the Rebuild India Fund was a very interesting initiative that I was a part of. They were using $50 million to simply fund small NGOs, which were spread across India, across all states, all run by people who are from the community itself. उनको 5 साल के लिए 10 लाख एवरी ईयर दिया जा रहा था कि उनको जो करना है, जैसे क्रिएटिवली स्पेंड करना है वो क्रिएटिवली स्पेंड करें। तो ऐसे कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग प्रोग्राम्स और फंड शुरू हो रहे हैं। जब आप डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में और पढ़ना शुरू करते हैं, देर आर सम रियली गुड रिसोर्सेज एंड आई शेयर सम रिसोर्सेज विद यू अभिषेक दैट यू कैन शेयर विद दिस ग्रुप as learning material and reading material to understand the sector a bit more. Not papers, but just certain websites that you can hear news about the development sector from. You learn a lot about experiments that are happening. There are so many technology grants, for instance, जैसे रीबिल्ड इंडिया फंड है, वैसे ही टेक्नोलॉजी ग्रांट एक है एजेंसी फंड करके। वो सैन फ्रांसिस्को के कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स ने क्रिएट किया है, वे दे लाइक एक इंडिविजुअल को अपनी राइट्स तक पहुंचने के लिए, अपने बेनिफिट्स खुद लेने के लिए, जो एजेंसी होती है एक इंसान के अंदर, नॉट एन एजेंसी लाइक लाइक अ इलेक्ट्रिक एजेंसी और समथिंग, बट द एजेंसी विद इन एन इंडिविजुअल टू रीच दैट फाइनल स्टेज, उसको बिल्ड करने के लिए कैसे पाथवेज हो सकते हैं, वो उसको फंड करते हैं। सो देयर इज अ लॉट दैट्स हैपनिंग विद इन द सेक्टर व्हिच इज वेरी एक्साइटिंग। सो मे बी यू आर समबडी हु लाइक्स टेक्नोलॉजी but feels like I don't want to go into that typical technology wala job, I want to do something different. Development sector is a great place to go and find that. There's so much happening in tech and in AI, etc. in this sector. And as I said, storytelling was another one. If you're in education, there's so much happening in education in the development sector with specific communities. If you're someone who likes languages, there's so much happening on the preservation of tribal languages also within the sector. Agriculture, if you're interested in food, if you're interested in, there's so much. Development sector is a great place to bring multiple interests together and explore them. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Shinjini. I forgot, completely forgot this as part of your introduction. Shinjini is also a farmer. This is something I told my students in class today, but you are taking a break from the whole states thing and
Yeah.
concentrating on your farming, which is mostly mustard farming, I'm guessing.
Yeah, mostly mustard, but there's also rice and wheat and other indigenous foods. But yes, I'm also taking a break to explore
Yeah.
farming a little deeper and help brand it and sell it. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So we have less than 10 minutes left. It's almost 9. So what we'll do is we'll quickly take questions. If anybody has questions, before you unmute yourselves and start asking, please raise your hand. Yes. Please raise your hand and then I'll come to you and then you can unmute yourselves and speak. Please keep your questions very, very short and direct. All right. I can already see a lot of hands. So I will start with Mayank. Mayank, if you could please quickly unmute and ask a question.
यस सर। गुड इवनिंग मैम। मैं ब्रीफ में बताता हूँ क्वेश्चन मेरा क्या है। मैम मैं अभी वो पढ़ रहा था जीरो पॉवर्टी प्रोग्राम जो वेबसाइट है, दोनों विकिपीडिया भी और जो मेन वेबसाइट है। मेरा क्वेश्चन में इतना है कि उसमें एक मेन चीज़ लिखी है, इरेडिकेटिंग एक्सट्रीम पॉवर्टी फ्रॉम द स्टेट। सो मैम अगर क्या आपने मैम इस चीज़ के बारे में सोचा कि जो जैसे यूपी में कुछ स्कूल्स ऐसे भी है जहाँ पे बिल्कुल भी मिड डे मील जो क्वालिटी बहुत अच्छी नहीं है एंड उनको न्यूट्रिशन की बहुत कमी होती है, बेसिकली माल न्यूट्रिशन। सो मैम आपने उस सेक्टर में क्या वर्क करा एंड करा है तो लाइक उसका सॉल्यूशंस क्या-क्या दिखे?
All right. Thank
Thanks
you,
so much,
Mayank.
Mayank. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Mayank. Very interesting question. But before I answer that, आपने ये स्पेसिफिकली क्यों पिक किया जो मिड डे मील का था, न्यूट्रिशन का था?
मैम
schools?
बिकॉज़ मिड डे मील प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट इसलिए होता है ताकि बच्चे स्कूल में अटेंडेंस बढ़े उनकी एंड उनको न्यूट्रिशन प्रोवाइड हो। एंड सेकंड थिंग इज़ मैं नॉन वेज और वेज में नहीं जाऊँगा, बट मैंने जो रिपोर्ट्स पढ़ी है रिसर्च गेट की कुछ-कुछ, उसमें जो न्यूट्रिशन वैल्यू होती है उसमें प्रोटीन होता ही नहीं है, टू बी वेरी स्पेसिफिक।
Hmm.
तो मेरा
Very
क्वेश्चन मैम यही
interesting.
है।
But I'm still going to ask you another question, but why did you ask this? I mean, is this just sort of curiosity, or are you working on this, or is this an area of interest? Or
मैम एक्चुअली मैंने पढ़ा है तो मेरे सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में क्वेश्चन चल रहा था बहुत देर से कि
अच्छा, so that's okay. So it's like
यस
that.
मैम।
Great. So actually, thanks so much. मैंने जब शुरुआत की थी अपने करियर की, एज आई सेड, मैंने बच्चों के साथ ही काम करना शुरू किया था, एंड मिड डे मील्स पे भी मैंने काम किया है, एंड एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन पे काफ़ी काम किया है इन यूपी। बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है मिड डे मील प्रोग्राम इन इटसेल्फ, जहाँ साउथ में आप देखोगे, ब्रॉड साउथ में आपको बच्चों को अंडे भी मिलते हैं खाने के लिए, बिरयानी भी दे रहे हैं कहीं कहीं बच्चों को, बट इन द नॉर्थ दे आर नॉट इवन गिविंग देम द बेसिक्स दैट आर रिक्वायर्ड। एंड कहीं तो ये भी शुरू होने वाला था कि पैकेज्ड मील्स होंगी रादर देन फ्रेशली कुक्ड मील्स, एंड फिर वो किस कास्ट का इंडिविजुअल है जो बना रहा है उसके ऊपर भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स हुई हैं। सो मिड डे मील प्रोग्राम एंड एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन न्यूट्रिशन के ऊपर जीरो पॉवर्टी अभियान में एक स्पेशल स्कीम निकली थी। जीरो पॉवर्टी अभियान बेसिकली वर्क्स ऑन अल्ट्रा पोअर फैमिलीज, लाइक इवन विदिन द पॉवर्टी का जो स्पेक्ट्रम होता है उसमें भी एक अल्ट्रा पोअर होता है, जो एक्सट्रीमली पोअर होते हैं, जिनके पास ना घर है ना ज़मीन है, दे डोंट हैव एनी रेगुलर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम, मल्टीपल प्रॉब्लम्स। उनके बच्चे भी अक्सर स्कूल नहीं जा पाते हैं, अगर जाते भी हैं तो रेगुलर अटेंड नहीं कर पाते हैं, बिकॉज उनको फिर जल्दी से जब वो 5th स्टैंडर्ड तक ही होते हैं, हो सकता है कि वो किसी जॉब में लग जाते हैं या फिर खेतों में काम करना शुरू कर जाते हैं। सो इन बच्चों के लिए एक स्पेशल स्कीम मुख्यमंत्री जी ने निकालने का प्रयास किया था कि उनको सप्लीमेंट्री न्यूट्रिशन मिलेगा एट द आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर इटसेल्फ, एंड सो दैट इज़ वन थिंग दैट वी आर वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स। बट द रियलिटी इज़ कि आप पॉलिसी बनाते हैं, आप सोच रखते हैं, आप इंटेंशन रखते हैं कि ये चीज़ें हों, मगर ऑन ग्राउंड उसको लाने में, उनको देने में मुश्किल हो जाती है। जब आप एक गांव में, जैसे ज़ीरो पॉवर्टी अभियान में हम केवल 25 परिवारों के साथ काम कर रहे थे, तो 25 पर ऐसा तो है नहीं कि गांव में केवल 25 परिवार ही अति गरीब हैं, और भी बहुत ज़्यादा है। जब आप केवल उन 25 परिवारों के, हो सकता है 50 बच्चों के साथ काम करें और बाकी भी 100 और हैं जो कि सेम स्टेट में हैं, तो आप केवल इन 50 को कैसे दोगे और उनको नहीं? हमने प्रयास किया था यहाँ पर कि उनको चना मिले एंड और भी प्रोटीन रिच लेग्यूम्स वगैरह मिले, मगर वो बाकी सब बच्चों के बाद भी मुद्दा चढ़ता है कि उनका क्या, व्हाट अबाउट द अदर्स? सो वी आर ग्रैपलिंग विद दैट राइट नाउ। इन चीज़ों के लिए बजट बनाना भी मुश्किल हो जाता है, और कितने समय तक दिया जाए, दैट इज़ अनदर वन। हु विल मेजर कि उनका न्यूट्रिशन आउटकम क्या था? All these things become very complicated when it comes to implementation, but we are trying, we're trying our best on that
यस
as well.
मैम।
That's what I'd say. Yeah. Super. Any
All
other
right.
questions?
Yeah, lots of them, Shinjini. I think, okay, I'll go to Diya now. Shruti, Shobit, Zoya, you can wait for a while. Diya, if you could quickly unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, my question is a little more personal. Like you previously mentioned that even as you, like even when you were a student, you did, a lot of groundwork and you wrote articles for newspapers. Now, this is a area that even I am particularly interested in. Even in fact, I tried to work in an NGO for quite a while. It's called Nidan. It's a local one. And psychology is a subject which really interests me. But something that I really struggle with is finding the time to do this stuff, because try to like I am a PCM student. I've been preparing for the competitive exams and everything. So what would you suggest to someone like me who is also interested in these two separate sectors, because I've been struggling with this quite a lot, and hearing your experience has it's been really inspiring for me.
Thanks so much, Dia. I think I had similar problems because I was a PCB student, and that point, biotechnology was in fashion, and my parents were very keen that I take on biotech or take on a medical line, because they're like, "Oh, you'll be very sorted if you do that." But that's not exactly what I took on eventually. But yeah, the way that I dealt with it was quite simple. Daily to nahi ho pata hai, volunteering is very difficult on a daily basis. I was lucky because my school was very close to my house, so I had a lot of time available to me, and I also had a farm, my family farm. My grandfather had a farm of his own, so I had a lot of rural connect in that sense. So मैं अपने farm भी जाती थी, and farm पे भी volunteer करके अपने ही जो बच्चे थे वहाँ के local school के, उनको भी पढ़ाती थी. But when I started working with this NGO Ehsaas and writing, it was always on the weekends. And I was also in first year college when I was volunteering most with Ehsaas. So after college got over at 5 o'clock, I would head to the college in the evenings and give 1 hour or 2 hours to teach the children. Or if I had to go, I used to take one day off because um, those days itna scene nahi hota tha related to your what is that called, attendance in college. So I could go and I could spend a day, a whole day also sometimes, if there was an event or something that I needed to be with the children, or if they had school admissions or something, I could go for that and implement and support them at that point in time. But yeah, it was usually weekends or after school hours that I would give an hour, but you have to make it work out for yourself in that sense.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All
You're
right,
welcome.
thank you. Shinjini, do you have 10 more minutes? Because we have
Oh
6 more
yeah,
questions.
absolutely. I can give you 30 if you like.
Okay, all right, okay. So I'll come to the ones I know the least. A lot of them are my own students. Koel, if you're ready, could you please quickly unmute and ask your question?
Thank you so much, sir. So, ma'am, I honestly have a lot of questions for you, but I'll stick to two. So, firstly, I am very much passionate about education as well as sociology, and I'm also a media student. And I want to get into Cambridge. So, as a first year student, is there a specific way to exactly execute this? Because I would genuinely love to make an impact when it comes to education field of India.
So the first thing is congratulations. You've got the typical rubric for a development studies scholar right there for you. I think there are two things that you need to keep in mind. You're specifically thinking about Cambridge, which is great. The college that I had first thought of that I wanted to go to and I was crazy about was Columbia in the US, and I wanted to do journalism in Columbia. And I had initially very strong thoughts about अगर करना है तो सिर्फ वहीं पे करना है सब कुछ. Cambridge and Oxford came later because I realized that the UK was a different environment. But yeah, when I was looking at my masters initially, I had thought of Columbia, and that didn't work for me at that point because didn't get a scholarship. So I would say if you're looking at education and if you're very clear कि आपको education में काम करना है, आप चाहे first year में हो or you're going into your second year, you need to narrow it down. Education is too broad. You need to understand where is education going, what are the opportunities available within education, which aspect of education you would like to look at. Education is very specific now, and if you want to go to a college like or a university like Cambridge, you will need to understand what the faculty of education is interested in, what are the courses that are funded, what are the prerequisites. I think you will require 75% in your undergrad to get into a college there as well. So, in your first year, if I was to say something, definitely focus on your exams and get the numbers that are required for you to meet the baseline for a university like Cambridge or others. Second is to look for internships in organizations like Pratham. Pratham is a great organization to work with if you really want to understand education very closely. And why I'm saying Pratham specifically is because of the ASAR survey that happens every year. If you're part of one of those surveys, you learn a lot more about education than from many other places, right? You also want to start attending a few conferences or online courses or talks that happen on education in the development sector. So if you start following what Pratham is doing, if you look at Rukmini Banerjee, who is the leader there, or if you look at profiles of students who are studying education in Cambridge or in Oxford, if you look at certain professors there and you look at where are they talking, what are they talking about, what are they writing about, you will be a little bit more updated about what are the issues and what are the core focus areas that may interest you. Because just being interested in education, as I said, won't work. You'll have to be very, very specific within that. Even when you go for your scholarship stage, you'll need to start maintaining from now only A, number one, the marks. B, what are the different scholarships you'll apply for? For instance, will it be the INLAC Shiftasari scholarship? Will it be the Cambridge Commonwealth scholarship? What are those scholarships going to require, and what is the level of work that you need to do to or exposure you need to have, what are the kind of papers you need to have written before you get those scholarships, etc. तो हर एक के requirements, आप minimum qualifications, dates जब उनके submissions जाते हैं, you need to understand who the professors are within your college who will write your reference letters for you. You need to have a good relationship with them so they can write well for you and put it in time. So all these things need to be put together well in advance. So I hope that helps, but it's a good time to get started. It's an intensive process, very, very intensive.
Right. Thank you, Shinjini. I'm sorry for breaking the order. I'll come to the class students a little later. Divya, if you're ready, could you please unmute and ask your question?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for letting me. Good evening, ma'am. My question is very basic, like how to start with development if you don't have such great background of working with the NGOs and writing stuff, and like what is the pathway?
Yeah. ग्रेट दिव्या, नो एक्चुअली डेवलपमेंट की स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ही ये है कि पहले आप थोड़ा सा समझ लो कि what are you interested in. You know, like in my case, I was someone who was a writer. So the first job that I had, and I was someone who could teach English in that sense. So the first two jobs that I had was writing documentation work, and the other was teaching English to students. So पहले आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि आप किस चीज़ में अच्छे हो, आपका क्या इंटरेस्ट एरिया है. Do you, what do you want to work on? Are you interested in, say, legal studies? So then maybe you want to work, maybe आप आगे जाके law करना चाहते हो. Then maybe you want to work with an NGO that is working in providing legal assistance. If you're interested in education, then maybe you want to work in with an NGO that is working a little bit on education. तो आपको एक internship लेनी पड़ेगी उनके साथ, आपको कुछ लोगों के साथ बात करनी पड़ेगी कि ये मेरे skills हैं. आप बिल्कुल blank slate के साथ कहीं नहीं जा सकते. You have to have something that you can offer. And usually that something is a skill that you may have learned in school or after. Maybe you do a course in Excel, for instance, or in some financial software. And then you go to that NGO and say that, look, I've learned this and I can help you do your accounts, or maybe I can help you do some writing work, or I can help you do photography or something like that. So वो skill आपको देखना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद आपको join करना पड़ेगा किसी को. या तो अगर कोई ongoing research study है, a lot of people keep asking for people who are in undergrad or, you know, second year, third year, or even first year तो generally नहीं लेते, second year, third year, or even master students who can support in research, on ground research. So going and doing surveys, helping them design questionnaires, helping them do data analysis. A big part of the development sector is data analysis, actually. So if you can learn a little bit from, say, even Coursera, if you want to do a few courses जो कि free में है, या फिर आप presentations बनाना अच्छे से सीख लो, तो ये सब चीज़ें बहुत मदद करेंगी आपको development sector में in terms of executive implementation related roles also beyond working with the community. So some suggestions there.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Shinjini.
much.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, Shruti's been waiting the longest. Shruti, if you are ready, quickly shoot your question.
Good evening, ma'am. I have two questions since I'm in my final year of BA in economics, and I want to know that what additional advantage will an MA in development studies give me compared to doing an MA in economics? And my second question is, will this program of development studies build on my economics background with practical skills like data analysis and econometrics or policy evaluation? Thank you.
So Shruti, I think good question and very objective question in terms of like मेरे को क्या मिलेगा ये करने से. But I don't think that's the attitude with which you can go into development studies in a serious manner, unfortunately. You know, I would, and I'm being very plain speak over here. अगर आप डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में जाके यही सोचोगे कि मेरे को लाइक मेरे को क्या हेल्प मिलेगी ये एमए करने का, इसको इससे कंपेयर करके, it's not like a typical should I do a, it's in development, it's got to be there's got to be a little bit of heart also in it. It's at the end of the day अगर आप डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर को चूज करते हो तो आपका एक पर्सनैलिटी टाइप भी होता है उसको चूज करने के लिए. अगर आपको थ्राइव करना है, आपको अच्छे से काम करना है, यू एज आई सेड बिफोर ऑल्सो, इसमें बहुत सारी अनसर्टनिटीज भी होते हैं, बहुत सारे रिवॉर्ड्स भी होते हैं. अगर आप BA इकोनॉमिक्स के बाद MA इकोनॉमिक्स करते हो या डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज करते हो, उसमें ज़्यादा कोई फ़र्क नहीं होगा अगर आप डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में ही जाना चाहते हो. आप MA इकोनॉमिक्स करके भी जा सकते हो, आप MA डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज़ भी करके जा सकते हो. बट दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन कि आपको डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में क्या करना है. अगर आपको डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में जा करके फंडिंग एजेंसी ज्वाइन करनी है, जैसे गेट्स फाउंडेशन ज्वाइन करना है, वहाँ पे गेट्स फाउंडेशन का फाइनेंस देखना है, या फिर गेट्स फाउंडेशन के माइक्रो क्रेडिट के प्रोग्राम्स देखने हैं आपको, या फिर ऐसा कोई और फाउंडेशन, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग गेट्स बिकॉज दैट्स द फर्स्ट दैट केम टू माय माइंड, then you need to have another degree in economics only, because then you want to do pure economics or pure maybe finance, etc., and then go on to do a little bit of implementation work and bring it together. मगर अगर आप श्योर नहीं हो कि आप कोई बैकअप क्या करना चाहते हो, टेक्निकली इकोनॉमिक्स में आगे काम करना चाहते हो या डेवलपमेंट में करना चाहते हो, then I would say that keep it very specific to widening your ऑप्शंस रादर देन नैरोइंग देम. अगर आप MA इकोनॉमिक्स करते हो तो उसके बाद आप PhD भी कर सकते हो, विद इन दैट यू कैन गो इनटू मेनी फाइनेंस रिलेटेड जॉब्स आल्सो. मगर अगर आप स्पेसिफिकली डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर के बारे में आपने सोच लिया कि मेरे को एक्सप्लोर करना है, तो आप अगर MA डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज कर लोगे, बट इट हैज टू बी फ्रॉम अ गुड इंस्टीट्यूशन. नॉट ऑल MA development studies courses are equal. For instance, if you go and do it at Azim Premji University in India, that's a great place to do it. Or if you go do it at CDS, it's a great place. If you go do it at TES, it's a great place. And when I say that, I mean it because the professors in those colleges are from the development sector itself. अगर आप किसी छोटी यूनिवर्सिटी में जाके डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज करते हो जिसको जहाँ पर प्रोफेसर्स को एक्चुअली कोई आइडिया नहीं है इन चीज़ों के बारे में, तो आपके ना तो स्किल्स बन पाएंगे ना आपका पर्सपेक्टिव बन पाएगा. सो आई वुड से कि द क्वेश्चन इज नॉट MA इकोनॉमिक्स वर्सेस MA डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज वर्सेस मैं डेटा एनालिसिस करूँ, कि वो डेटा एनालिसिस के इतने सारे कोर्सेज हैं अभी 6 months के विच आर जस्ट सेपरेट फ्रॉम दिस इटसेल्फ. देयर सो मेनी सॉफ्टवेयर्स एंड इवन विद इन द रिसर्च सेक्टर देयर आर so many softwares that are used just to analyze big large quantums of data. So you will have to learn stata and all these other softwares for coding and all, and analyzing large chunks of data anyway outside of your course. वो course में बहुत कम सिखाए जाते हैं. So I would say कि आप थोड़ा सा पढ़ो कि और थोड़ा सोचो कि आपको क्या करना है. You know, if you're not sure कि आपको क्या करना है and आपको किस कॉलेज में opportunity मिल रही है करने के लिए, then comparing the two won't really hold you in good stead. If I was in your place, I would first look that मैंने अपना BA कर लिया, थोड़ा सा टाइम मैं ज़रा दूँ एक इंटर्नशिप पे या किसी काम पे before I go into my MA. I apply, I keep my options open, but I also spend 1 or 2 months working with an NGO, working with a think tank, working with a consulting organization on an internship to understand कि क्या opportunities available हैं और फिर मैं वो decision लूँ. So I would say apply for both the development studies as well as an economics course, and in between spend 2 months doing a bit of an internship. Never shy away from making more applications than less is my biggest recommendation to everyone here who is finishing their undergrad. When I finished my undergrad, I had applied to at least 6 or 7 different master's courses. I'd applied at IRMA and Anand, I'd applied to TIS, I'd applied for law also, I'd applied for multiple things. But while working, I realized कि नहीं, मेरे लिए ये ज़्यादा effective है. मैंने फिर Masters in Rural Development and Population Education Lucknow University से ही इसलिए किया because I had a very good World Bank project that I was working on. And I realized कि ये वर्ल्ड बैंक का ठप्पा एंड वर्ल्ड बैंक के साथ प्रोजेक्ट करना मुझे हो सकता है किसी दिल्ली के कॉलेज में जाकर के नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि मुझे वहाँ पे अटेंडेंस 100% देनी पड़ेगी, बट एक लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी मुझे नहीं देनी पड़ेगी. सो आई मेड दैट डिसीजन वेरी अर्ली फॉर माई सेल्फ, and I learned on the job how to do, say, data analysis or presentations and all of that. So it really depends upon what opportunities you're choosing and where you're going. So that's it. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was very comprehensive. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Akshara, if you can quickly shoot your question.
Good evening, ma'am. Actually, I have a doubt moreover that if we are in government sector, are we always working under higher government officials and we are not born to criticize government, any of their points, or the grind is just for citizens?
Akshara, I would love to take this question to my boss in the government and tell him that this is the question that was asked last night. So I just want to know कि मेरा future क्या है. But it really depends upon आप क्या कर रहे हो government के साथ. ठीक है. अगर आप if you are like mid-senior level person, or even if you're the senior most person who is not from the government in your organization, you will always be number 2. Government will always be number 1. You can be the head, you can be Bill Gates also. When Bill Gates also comes to UP government, he is second to the chief secretary and everyone else. उसके पास सारा पैसा है, वो जो दे रहे हैं अपने billions, but he'll always be second to the government. So there's no way that you can be above the government. The government is the government and government representation is always above you. Whether you can criticize them or not depends upon your relationship with them and depends upon the quality of your criticism and what you're trying to give to them. In our case, I mean, I know that I'll give you an example. Zero Poverty Abhiyan में ये लोग बहुत problems create कर रहे थे when I had some data around orphans. I said कि ये जो घर हैं कुछ 30,000 houses थे, नहीं 97,000 houses थे जहाँ पर likelihood था एक orphan के होने का. And I was like, इनके लिए कोई योजना होनी चाहिए because in poverty traps etc. यही वो बच्चे हैं जो फिर migrate कर जाएंगे या फिर traffic भी हो सकते हैं. So we must have some social protection safety net for them. तो like नहीं ये तो survey ऐसे ही हुआ है और ये orphan कैसे रह सकता है एक old woman के साथ. I was like, अगर किसी के घर में किसी की death हो जाती है तो वो अपने grandparents के, I mean like people don't even think in terms of what the requirement of that is. So somewhere your role as a development sector professional is to sensitize the government. Government begins to become, and when I'm saying government, I mean government officials, begin to get so desensitized to these issues because वो community के साथ इतना engage ही नहीं करते, वो अपने files में ही busy रहते हैं mostly, और वो बहुत बड़ी level की policy पे ही काम करते रहते हैं, so they don't know कि ground level पे गांव में actually क्या हो रहा है, किस तरीके से चीजें बदल रही हैं. So आपको उनकी cynicism को थोड़ा सा कम करना होता है, उनको examples देने होते हैं, जहाँ पर evidence based opinion shifting happens a lot. So in the development sector, one of the skills you need to have is a great memory and the ability to assimilate a bunch of evidences around you and present them in a manner that is to the advantage of the cause that you're writing for. So supposing I had the 97,000, I had to have 6 or 7 cases of these families, photographs, केस स्टडीज कि भाई ये कौन बच्चे हैं, कहाँ क्या हुआ, किसी का दिल दहलाना पड़ता है आपको कुछ बड़ी पॉलिसी लिखवाने के लिए, एंड दैट्स वेयर योर रोल कम्स इन. सो समटाइम्स दे विल बी क्रिटिकल एंड दे विल बी लाइक अरे मैडम आप हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ मांगने ही आ जाती हैं और ये है और वो सब भी होगा वहाँ पर, एंड वो सब होता है मेरे साथ अक्सर. मैं लड़ भी जाती हूँ, भिड़ भी जाती हूँ, वो नाराज भी होते हैं, बट इवेंचुअली they listen to you because you're asking for something that is important and which is their mandate anyway. So you have to be very persistent and you have to have a very thick skin. And you have to not mind being number 2 in these situations, because honestly, it's better that you're number 2 sometimes in these cases. You'll realize that when you work with them. There's no point being number 1 with them. So yeah, double about
Thank you,
that.
ma'am.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Shanjini. Okay, Niranjan, quickly, if you could.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Hi, Dr. Shanjini. Thanks for the session today. So for me, actually, I've been working around the social and development sector since my college days. And I've done like a lot of things, internship, fellowships, volunteering, even freelancing for the NGOs. But when I did my first job, that was in the corporate. And now, after 2 years, I want to go back to the development sector.
That's
So
great.
given given आज का जो scenario है on ground, it's being very difficult for me to go back to the NGO sector because now I'm more better for a corporate setup for these NGOs. Like being someone who was motivated to be in the UN and UNICEF, getting into a normal NGO and working for a normal NGO is being more difficult for me now. So my question to you is, what would be your suggestion to me? Should I give it a new start? Like, should I do another fellowship like Gandhi Fellowship? या मेरे को कोई masters करना चाहिए? Or should I again start from the ground level to again enter the development sector?
No, I think you mentioned a very good thing over there about fellowships, and that's another thing that I would recommend to everyone, that Gandhi Fellowship जैसी और भी बहुत सारी fellowships हैं, Chief Minister की fellowships हैं, and various foundations की भी fellowships हैं जहाँ पर आप एक particular आपको एक fund मिलता है हर महीने. You get paid pretty well, you get a stipend, and you also get to work with communities and be very immersed. And उसके एक respect और एक network तो obviously बहुत value रखता है. So yes, Gandhi Fellowship is definitely one thing you should explore if you're getting into the sector, and there are many more like that also. Now talking about going from corporate sector back to the NGO sector, I'm finding it surprising कि आपको थोड़ा मुश्किल लग रहा है. Actually बहुत सारे NGOs को ज़रूरत है, and जैसे कि मैंने कहा, development sector is not just about NGOs. There are many other opportunities available to you. You don't have to work with an NGO to work in the development sector, correct? You can work with a think tank. So when I say a think tank, so there are also agencies, like there's a very good organization called Samagra, SAMAGRA. So they have a very good program, mostly for fresh undergrads. They usually take people from specific colleges, but you can also reach out to them. वो गवर्नमेंट्स के साथ बहुत क्लोजली काम करते हैं, वो भी they're like an NGO consultancy only, and you can work using your corporate skills to help with various implementation related work, various large scale government programs also. You can work with funding agencies, you can work with ecosystem enablers. Like there's this organization called Arthan in the development sector. If you read about Arthan, you'll see कि उसमें they take on all sorts of people with all sorts of backgrounds. उनको HR के level पर लेते हैं so that they can talk more about the kind of hiring that's happening within the development sector. You get paid fairly well also. You get to know about a lot of opportunities. So between deciding कि मेरे को development sector में क्या करना है और किस तरह की trajectory लेनी है, you can work with different organizations that are supporting the development sector also. जैसे Arthan was one. There are a couple of others also. people who provide mental health support, for instance, to non-profits, people who provide financial advisory and compliance advisory to non-profits. So that larger ecosystem is also available to you. But that depends upon आपने corporate में किस तरह का काम किया. Like आपने finance में काम किया, कि आपने compliance में काम किया, कि आपने business development में काम किया. A lot of people, it's about reaching out to the right kind of person. So if you say in a Delhi, or you're in a Bombay, there are a lot of these social sector clubs and a lot of these social sector gatherings that happen. And you can attend these and meet a lot of people who are looking for people like yourself, or you can reach out on LinkedIn also for these gatherings, or just reach out and talk that, look, hey, these are my skills. I'm looking for an opportunity to join you back. And you're still very early. I think you're not very late. It's not like आपने 10 साल करके फिर आप सोच रहे हो कि corporate के 10 साल करने के बाद आप join कर रहे हो social sector को, तो आपके लिए मुश्किल होगा. It's only been like 1 or 2 years for you in the corporate and then coming back to social. Shouldn't be a problem at all, honestly. I'm happy to also chat with you separately if you're looking for more specific opportunities. So you can always reach out via Abhishek.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Shinjini. I feel bad for your throat. Do you have the energy for 3 more questions? 3 more people are left.
I do. I
You do?
have my
You-
soup with me, so I will chat. Let's go.
All
for
right.
it.
Thank you. Diptanshu, if you're ready.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the talk, ma'am. So I recently gave CVT PG, and I'll probably be joining JNU's Development and Labor Studies. And I actually wanted to ask you more about, like, I think you were going to talk about like PhDs and getting into academia. And I look at, especially for development and labor studies and development PhDs, there's no proper a proper subject in net, right? And it's very problematic. Like if the PhDs in, especially in research, there are no direct
Yeah.
PhD options. You have to switch to sociology or some pure subject, and that also puts you at a disadvantage because professors do prefer taking MA students from pure subjects like sociology or economics, and that sort of gives development students a disadvantage. Should like should one focus on going abroad only for a PhD, or how should that work?
Oh, I think Diptanshu, I think yours is a maturer level of problem and academic also. So I'll try and answer this with as much sensitivity as I can. And number one, please don't think that NET and JRF and all of these things are the only way out when it comes to academia, etc. There are so many private universities now in India that are keen to have people who've done multidisciplinary work like yourself. And like if you after having done this work, that after having done the course that you are doing, if you along with this work with say an Indus action, and please note that down, with an Indus action or with SOCO, which is in Dasra, or with any other non-profit that is working on the well-being of workers and on labor studies, etc., your chances of getting a scholarship to work in a foreign or to study at a foreign university will be higher because you would have worked with real-time problems in India and in the larger global south on labor well-being. So you will have to kind of specifically decide that within labor relations and within the larger context of labor studies and everything that you're trying to do, what is the issue or what is the set of issues that you're trying to work with that is relevant to the future problems of that segment? Because going abroad to do a PhD is nothing. Like like मैं बाहर का ठप्पा लेके आ जाऊँ is not the. It's not like by getting a PhD or a Commonwealth scholarship from a Cambridge, your life's problems are sorted. I had finished there are going to be like 200 other students like yourself who are looking for jobs, the same job. There's so many scholarships to study in the UK. You'll have people from Harvard, you'll have people from Stanford, you'll have everybody. तो आपको लगता है कि मैंने ये खत्म कर दिया, मेरे को बाहर का ठप्पा लग गया, अब तो मुझे जॉब मिल ही जाएगा, वो भी नहीं होता. Because there's so many people coming out every semester with even more experience than you and even better degrees than you, that it becomes very hard. It's not the end game there. So what is going to make it totally future proofing yourself is that number one, what is the core set of problems I want to solve within this subject, then do that PhD or that MBA or that whatever else you want to do abroad. Maybe even teach a semester there or something whilst you're studying. Then come back and apply. And whilst you're studying there, begin to build your network in India or wherever else you want to work. You don't have to do it. Maybe you want to work in the Philippines. Maybe you want to work closer to ADB. Maybe you want to pick up a project on labor studies with the Asian Development Bank or with the World Bank or with somebody else. And whilst you're doing that, you can also continue to apply for professorship positions, and you have a good level of research that's coming out. You'll be paid 10 times as much working with an ADB, etc., compared to a regular professor's job in India right now. So you want to expand your scope to looking beyond the typical teaching role to solving actual problems. That is really good when you look at a foreign university and a degree there. Uh, Within India, the purest approach is going to exist, is going to be a problem. I fully this thing, but as I said to other people also, अपने options खोलने हैं. So you look at doing a PhD in India also, whilst you're looking at doing a PhD abroad, because I've seen really good people who have perfect marks, perfect everything, still not making it abroad. आपका हो सकता है आपने top internships करे हैं, सब कुछ perfect है आपका, आप मतलब कि आपके marks भी perfect है, आपके references भी top notch हैं, but आपका फिर भी नहीं हो पा रहा है admission abroad. You're not getting that scholarship. So you need to have that backup plan in India also. And even as you're creating that backup plan, you need to have that network. So why I said Indus Action and SOCO is because within labor relations, these are the two organizations within the development sector that are working on those issues. And whilst you're looking at an academic career, you need to also look at an on-ground, where can you fit in kind of piece. Because once you work with them, once you figure out what problems you want to solve, and you kind of connect with the ADB space, you'll be able to earn good money and solve actual problems rather than just teaching about them, which I think is way nicer. But maybe that's just me. I'm sorry. I don't know if I answered your question, but I'm just giving you a broader spectrum there. Just
All
some
right.
thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you
I,
so much.
I feel good about teaching once again. All right, we'll go to Shobit now quickly. Shobit, if you could make it very, very brief. Shobit, are
Hello,
you
ma'am.
there?
Hi, Shobit.
Am I audible, sir?
You'll have to be a little louder.
हाँ है, अब आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
So I'm Shobit Sai. So I'm the student of Insights. मैम मेरा जो क्वेश्चन है वो ये है कि while I was in IMC ना, the last semester of IMC when the placement was going on, so I was placed into this Prasar Bharati thing, but also I was selected for this Gandhi Fellowship. But I chose the safe route मैम, और वो ये था कि प्रसार भारती में चला जाए. तो अभी मुझे थोड़ा सा मैम प्रसार भारती में वैसी वाइब्स आती हैं, काइंड ऑफ लेड बैक. वहाँ पे एक कल्चर है और एक मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर मैं ग्रास रूट पे होता, अगर मैं गांधी फेलोशिप के साथ जाता तो चीज़ें ज़्यादा बेटर होती. तो दिस इज काइंड ऑफ अ रिपेंट टाइप ऑफ फीलिंग. मैं सिर्फ ये एक्सप्रेस करना चाहूँगा. तो मुझे आपसे वही पूछना है मैम कि अगर और ज़्यादा फेलोशिप्स भी, एक्यूमेन फेलोशिप्स आर देयर, अदर डेवलपमेंट फेलोशिप्स आर देयर, बट उसके क्राइटेरियाज बहुत ज़्यादा वैसे हैं, लाइक इफ यू जस्ट कंपेयर इट विद गांधी फेलोशिप, जिसको मतलब उसमें मतलब स्टेजेस काफ़ी ज़्यादा हैं. तो मैम मतलब उसमें क्या किया जाए? लाइक
I think
sorry, I was not able to.
No, don't. I think that thank you so much for being so honest कि यार मजा नहीं आ रहा है, थोड़ा सा laid back लग रहा है. So I think Shobit, part 2 of your problem is not the problem. Part 1 is the opportunity and the problem. What you said first ना कि यार गांधी फेलोशिप में जो grassroots level हो रहा था, मुझे वो ज़्यादा exciting लग रहा है compared to जो मैं अभी कर रहा हूँ. Imagine कि आप अगर प्रसार भारती में कुछ एक बहुत ही amazing कुछ काम करें, जैसे for instance, do you know about domes? The dome community. डोम होते हैं जो कि डेड बॉडीज बर्न करते हैं in terms of Hindu rights. Imagine if you were to write something or make something in Prasar Bharati around the dome community or some other nomadic community. Like अगर आप थोड़ा सा अपना grassroots level research, मतलब कि क्योंकि आपका immediate group laid back है, उससे ये नहीं necessary है कि आप भी laid back हो जाओ. Maybe you can come up with a great concept or something totally different that would really help you shine. Because in a laid back environment, अगर एक इंसान के पास थोड़ा spark होता है ना, तो वो बहुत आगे जाता है. प्रसार भारती में भी आप गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट्स के साथ काम करेंगे, यू विल कम क्लोज टू मेनी पीपल हु आर high level decision makers, whether it's in Niti Aayog or in other places. So you want to look for those opportunities, right, where you can shine a little bit and can do a little more. So think about leveraging what you have right now. Don't think about getting out of this. बट क्यों, और मैं ये इसलिए सबको बोलूंगी कि आप जो भी अभी कर रहे हो उसमें एक्सट्रीमली वेल और एक्सट्रीमली डिफरेंट कुछ करने की कोशिश करो जो आपको रियली शाइन कराता है और कुछ मीनिंगफुल इम्पैक्ट छोड़ता है. वाई? बिकॉज जब आप अपनी सीवी लेकर के कहीं भी जाओगे कल, तो दे विल ऑलवेज आस्क कि उसमें क्या किया आपने. और फिर अगर आप बोलोगे कि यार वो गंदा डिसीजन था, मेरे को तो गांधी फेलोशिप जाना चाहिए था, वहां पर तो आप जानते हो प्रसाद में कुछ नहीं होता, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग, तो मजा नहीं आएगा. जैसे मैं जीरो पॉवर्टी में हूँ अभी, और मुझसे अगर कोई बोलता है कि यार तुम तो गवर्नमेंट में थी, 1 साल तुमने किया ही क्या, तो आई हैव 30 थिंग्स टू से दैट आई मैनेज टू डू, एंड नॉट बिकॉज आई एम अ सीनियर पर्सन नाउ, बट बिकॉज आई मेड द एफर्ट एंड आई got a lot of shit for it also, but I did something. So I would say similarly for you, whilst you're in Prasar Bharati, make sure you do something exceptionally different. Maybe in Prasar Bharati, you can do a video of different fellowship programs and different young fellows in India, right? And that way you get to know a lot of people and improve your network. Sometimes being in a place like a Prasar Bharati can really help you leverage your network and leverage your opportunities is one thing. दूसरी फेलोशिप्स के लिए अप्लाई करना, आई डोंट नो, आफ्टर प्रसार भारती maybe you would want to go into something better and bigger rather than going back into a fellowship space just because you feel कि यार मेरी ब्रांडिंग गलत हो गई, अब मुझे कुछ और करना चाहिए. हमेशा थोड़ा सा आगे सोचो, डोंट गो बैकवर्ड्स इज माय सजेशन. अगर वो फेलोशिप वाला फेज ओवर हो गया तो ओवर हो गया है, वील फाइंड समथिंग बेटर टू डू, चाहे हम इंडिपेंडेंट करें चाहे हम कुछ और करें. अगर आप वापस फिर से स्टार्ट करना चाह रहे हो, जैसे किसी और ने भी मुझे बताया कि आई एम थिंकिंग ऑफ गोइंग बैक टू इट, नो दैट्स नॉट अ गुड आइडिया. स्टार्ट वेयर एवर यू आर और गो इनटू समथिंग बेटर नेक्स्ट. डोंट गो बैक इनटू मैं फिर से शुरू करता हूँ. दैट्स नॉट द वे इट वर्क्स इन डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर. You can do many lateral entries, you can do a lot of good work, you can do a lot of different work. एंड जब हमारे पास टाइम है तो हम ये देखें कि दूसरे लोग क्या काम कर रहे हैं. एंड जब दूसरे लोग की बात करें, हम सिर्फ इंडिया के बारे में ना सोचें, हम ग्लोबली सोचें थोड़ा सा. मे बी यू वॉन्ट टू अप्लाई फॉर थिंग्स इन नेपाल, मे बी यू वॉन्ट टू गो टू वियतनाम. वाई यू थिंकिंग अबाउट फेलोशिप्स ओवर हियर ओनली? यंग पीपल के लिए आज क्लाइमेट में इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं ग्लोबली जो कि पहले कभी नहीं थी in the development sector. So maybe start looking at that, maybe start working in places और in geographies जहाँ पे किसी ने पहले काम ही नहीं किया है. थोड़ा सा अपने comfort area से बाहर निकल करके कुछ बहुत ही अलग जगह पे जाके काम करो. यही वो फेज है, वो 5 years है आपके पास अर्ली करियर के, जब आप ये सब एक्सप्लोर and all of that. So think about experiencing more right now. Don't worry about the fellowships and all. That's not it. I think you're a creative person. अगर आपको select किया है प्रसार भारती के लिए, there's definitely they are seeing something reliable in you. So what they would have seen is कि इस बंदे में कुछ तो है कि वो कर ले जाएगा. Otherwise they won't take you also. So I'm really happy that don't take it like अरे यार boring जगह and all. That there is government folks generally pick people who they see a spark in. So don't feel that way. He's saying something.
All right. Thank you.
He's on mute though, but he's saying something.
He's on mute.
नहीं I said more than the reliable thing, it's a routine thing for them. हर साल वो 15 से 20 बच्चे ले जाते हैं IIMC से.
हाँ, तो तुम उनमें से 15 से 20 में से कुछ एक्सेप्शनल करके दिखाना.
For sure, ma'am.
All right, I'll wait for what you bring up.
Right. All right.
Thank you.
One last question, Zoya. If you can quickly ask your question.
Yeah, sure. Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time. My question is that, how do you navigate and respond to structural or bureaucratic shortcomings in public policy implementation? I mean, to what extent can you, challenge or contest government decisions?
I think I've kind of spoken about this before.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go very deep, but is there, a specific, angle that you want me to touch upon? So
I mean, to what extent can you defy their decisions or question them or challenge?
It's not like they have any bad decisions or anything malicious at heart. That it's not like they're saying कि तुम मतलब कि अगर कोई अच्छा काम करना है तो वो करेंगे ही. There's no reason why that they would do something absolutely terrible or something like that. And I can't, like, why would I go against the government right now for anything that is good? Like, if they're doing an anti-poverty program, or if they're doing something for the education of children, I will support them in whatever they say. I'll only try to expand upon it. It's not like they would do something anti-community in any case. Very rarely would they do something like that. And wherever they choose to do something like that, one can raise their voice always, and there are always legal routes to tell them to change their decision. But yeah, but there is very frankly, I mean, there have been very few opportunities where people have taken decisions that are completely anti of what is worthwhile for the community at hand. There, अगर larger business interest होता है जैसे अभी जो केन बेतवा में हो रहा है, या फिर if I talk about right now, विकास नगर is a place in Lucknow जहाँ पे एक आग लगी थी and over 300 houses have been burnt down. First people said accident है, फिर पता चला कि हो सकता है उस पूरी बस्ती को जला दिया गया. और मैंने देखा कि वहाँ पर गवर्नमेंट का बहुत कम सपोर्ट था टू हेल्प द पीपल who were living in that slum. In fact, local communities helped more. It hurt me, and I was like, how can it be that the government is not taking any initiative to help here? फिर एंड में नगर निगम के कुछ लोग आए. But you know, what I can do is I can write a letter and tell them, or I can say something. But there are many other ways as a voluntary person or as a civil society, which is, you talk about the development sector, but there's also civil society. There are also some decent NGOs out there who put their hearts and minds together and choose to serve irrespective of what is available. So when you're part of all of that, you don't feel so disassociated or disenchanted with what the government is doing. So I'm not a disenchanted person or a discouraged person or someone who doesn't raise a voice, but I also know my limitations because I am a representative of a program that is the government's program, is it's their flagship program. So there's very little I can discourage the government from doing once it decide. जैसे उनके 250 करोड़ है, उनको जैसे स्पेंड करने वो वैसे ही करेंगे, मेरे कहने या ना कहने से तो वो नहीं करेंगे. बट अगर मैं उनको करेक्ट एविडेंस और एग्जाम्पल्स दूंगी तो वो इग्नोर नहीं कर पाएंगे जो मैं कहना चाह रही हूँ. So that's how I would put it, if that helps. So the more robust my argument, the more likelihood of them following my perspective on the matter, or my decision on the matter.
Right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Shinjini.
you, ma'am.
I think Dia still has a question left, but what we'll do is I can totally sense Shinjini's throat going dry. I'll take that question from Dia and text it to you so that you can answer that whenever you are free. So, Dia, if you could please text me whatever question you have, and I'll forward it to Shinjini, or you could connect with her on LinkedIn. So I will broadcast the question,
Sure.
but I think it's almost 9:40, and you've been speaking non-stop for over 100 minutes. So thank you so much, Shinjini, for finding time. There are so many questions that were raised today, that I certainly couldn't have answered in my capacity. So thank you for taking some very pointed questions and actually giving them ways out. You actually named places that people could join or restart their career with. So I can't thank you enough for that. I think even the ones who weren't looking for such opportunities, they've all managed to hear of the places they could apply to and get their career started with. So thank you so much for finding time. And in case any of the people who've attended these sessions have any more questions left, you could DM them to me on WhatsApp, and I will send them to Shinjini. So on behalf of the entire team of Incisive, Shinjini, thank you so much for taking out more than an hour for this and getting the incisive reset career series started. And for everybody who's joined in today, thank you for being a fantastic audience. Most of you stayed till the end. And I hope you will join tomorrow as well and for the next 8 days. Shinjini, if there's anything else that you want to add to whatever you've spoken, otherwise, thank you so much. I'm pretty sure you're getting late for dinner.
No, I've been eating alongside, so that's fine. But I just wanted to say thank you so much, Abhishek, for you've always been a trailblazer in all that you've done. You've been a great learner. You've always been someone I've looked up to. I've known you for 15 years. The way you engage with knowledge and with people around yourself is something I've admired. And by creating Incisive and this forum, I think you're doing such a great service for so many young people, because when I started, like when I was like 19, 18 or 21 also, I didn't have something like Incisive where I could listen in. I used to just stalk people and then write to them and wait for them to write back to me. So there were no forums to hear people like myself talk about career opportunities or trajectories or networks or scholarships or colleges. So thank you so much for creating this forum and helping people like me reflect upon our paths, and also hear from young people who we may not meet in everyday life about what their concerns are. And it also sensitizes me when I'm interviewing people like the ones that I'm listening to, that, you all also go through such a churning, and you have so many things on your mind about main ye karoon ki na karoon, where do I go, where is this going to take me. So uh, this conversation has really helped sensitize my heart towards young people a little more, because when we think about Gen Z, we're always like, kaise karenge ye? So I'm very happy that talking to this set of Gen Zs, that, and I'm assuming you're all Gen Zs, that you're really trying, and you want to explore, and I'm sure you'll do much greater and bigger things than we all have. My only last thing is that don't go after the name of the university or the college. Don't go after the course. Don't try to just be like, ये ठप्पा लग जाएगा तो ये हो जाएगा. It's and you may say that it's easy for you, Shinjini, because आपने तो कैम्ब्रिज से करके आए हो ना. यार उससे पहले मैं एमिटी में थी, लोकल कॉलेज में थी, मैंने सब किया, मैंने दैनिक जागरण में भी काम किया है. So I will just say that it is the small things you do in your everyday life. It is the way that you sustain your friendships and networks, and it is the more you think about what you want for yourself and for the larger community, whether you choose development sector or you choose any sector, that will hold you in good stead. And thoda sa listening is important. I give you a big congratulations for listening to me for so long. but uh, but yeah, listening to as many people as you can and reading old school fashion way really helps a lot, because it will set you apart from many people who don't have that kind of focus. एंड सो या थोड़ा सा रेट्रो स्टाइल में चीज़ें करनी चाहिए, काम आती हैं इवेंचुअली, बिकॉज जो लोग आपको आपके सीनियर्स होंगे वेर एवर यू गो एंड वर्क, दे विल ऑलवेज हैव अ पैराडाइम विच इज़ very different from your current framework of learning, etc. There will be people like me or much older than me also who will have expectations of that generation. So it's very important that you understand folks like us when you prepare for jobs, that we have worked very hard on ground. We have worked, and we think we worked very hard. I don't know if we worked hard. We think we worked very hard. We've put in many hours. वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस नाम की चीज़ नहीं समझ में आती है हम जैसे लोगों को, विच इज़ नॉट हेल्दी. बट if you understand that, you are a little better equipped to work in places of the future where you will be working with. They will expect you to work very hard and to work very efficiently. And to do that, you need to be very well informed and equipped to report back to them and tell them कि तुम कर क्या रहे हो. So ये थोड़ी चीज़ें while you deciding कि हमें क्या करना है, कौन सी जगह पढ़ना है, ये भी थोड़ा सोचो कि हम किसके लिए काम करने जा रहे हैं. Who are those people who we'll be reporting to? Who are those people who we will be studying under? Who are those professors? Who are those teachers? Who are those, CEOs and others? If you understand those people a little better, the likelihood of you doing well in life will be uh, much, you know, closer and better, is my suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shinjini.
Thanks.
During the course of these 1 hour, 45 minutes, I think you mentioned the word hard work at least 10 times. And that's something that I am, you open Instagram and the only thing you can see is there's a comparison between hard work and smart work, and you are being pushed towards doing things differently and uniquely and somehow managing to, not have to slog so much. And what I want to point out is that I think you started earning and working at the age of 15, and when you actually entered Cambridge, you were 26. So you'd already a decade of work and decade of working on the ground behind you when you went to Cambridge. So anybody who's watching this, I think that is the most abiding lesson to take, is that it takes a lot of work to get to Cambridge or anywhere else to become a consultant or to get into those top positions. And this is not something you've done for the CV or for LinkedIn or for certificates or something that you can flaunt, right? A lot of grind and a lot of heart goes into it. So I hope everybody who attended the session benefited from it. And in case there are any other questions, feel free to DM me, and we'll meet again tomorrow at 8. Thank you once again, Shinjini, for finding time. And I hope to see you soon again for some other session at Incisive, whenever
Definitely.
you're free.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Thanks all.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you have any other queries, please WhatsApp or mail them to me. Thank you and good night. Bye bye.